Marvel. The devastation of natural disasters begins. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Snake Girl. Fate. Justice will not be lacking. It will just be late. I didn't expect that. As a policeman who is late, I would be late for the first time. I wanted to do something good. In the dark night, under the moonlight, on the roof, Tang Feng, who was half squatting on top with a pocket and a windbreaker, pouted, and then looked at his compatriots below with a look of surprise. New compatriot? A mutant with a mutant body? In the alley below, 4 corpses lay, and only one girl was standing. No, it shouldn't be a girl, it should be a snake girl. I saw the blood dripping from her slender hands, and there was a drop of blood on the edge of her pretty face, like a stained white lotus, and like a saint who has fallen into the devil's path. She, under the blood-stained white skirt, is not a pair of legs, but a tail covered in scales. The length is about 2 meters longer than the usual legs, and it is blue, just like her vertical pupils. The blue light appears, revealing a cold, bloodthirsty. This is the animal nature activated. From the unique vision of snakes and the intuition of beasts, she suddenly felt a gaze that brought her a serious threat. The scales on her body trembled slightly, like a cat's tail being stepped on, and her hair stood up. Looking away from the 2 dead people, with a flick of her tail, she turned around and looked around quickly, and quickly raised her head to lock onto Tang Feng's figure. "Hello, new compatriot. Don't be nervous, I have no ill will." Tang Feng jumped off the 5-meter-high roof, and the force of disaster protected him, alleviating the impact, but leaving a pit in its place. The calamity is so strong. Maybe it's time to try. Why did you fly? While thinking about it, Tang Feng walked to Snake Girl and smiled, indicating that he was not a bad person who wanted to be harmful to her. Hiss! Snake Girl tilted her head, exposing a slender tip of her tongue, like a snake, and made a sound similar to that of a snake. Perhaps she heard Tang Feng's words, or perhaps she didn't feel malicious. Snake Woman thought she was safe, then closed her eyes, fell down, and fainted. What's going on? Tang Feng scratched his head strangely, thinking that there would be some conflict with the new compatriots, but he didn't expect that she would faint so simply. Perhaps because of the mutation, the mind and body were under a lot of pressure, so I couldn't hold on any longer and fainted. Tang Feng guessed, looking at the scene quickly like a famous detective, and noticed an IOU that fell to the ground. He had a clear understanding, it must be a gambling debt, and he was killed. It's a pity that this man hurt his family. Tang Feng looked away from the middle-aged man who had been shot and died. After figuring out the reason, he walked to Snake Girl, scratching his head, feeling worried and not knowing how to calm her down. As a new compatriot, he couldn't let Snake Woman stay here. Has it returned to the way it was before? Tang Feng walked over and finally noticed the red and white feet under the white skirt from the dim light. Well, the feet are small, white and tender, the kind of small feet that all men like. Tang Feng suppressed his distracting thoughts, squatted down, turned the girl over, and finally saw her appearance. This is it? He opened his eyes in surprise. It was too similar. If he hadn't known, it was not the world of his previous life. Maybe he really thought she was that famous female star. He couldn't help but think of the days of his previous life. He still remembered the Xianxia TV series that he liked to watch very much when he was studying at that time. Her name is Linger and she is the dream lover of many people. Tang Feng is no exception. He also has fantasies in his heart, but when he grows up, he will no longer think about these unrealistic things. I didn't expect to meet such a similar person. For the sake of fate, I can't ignore it. Tang Feng wiped the blood from his face with his hands and muttered to himself that he had already made up his mind in his heart. He picked up the girl, then tilted his head to look at the 4 corpses, thinking for a moment. By the way, they have the courage to put up usurious debts, so besides having power, they should also have dollars. Thinking about it, Tang Feng's eyes lit up and he hurriedly looked for it. The girl's parents also didn't let her go. They were all dead anyway. If you don't bring it with you in life, If you don't bring it with you in death, it's better to contribute to it. There is a bank card, but he can't use it, and there is not much cash, only more than $10,000 in total. Although Tang Feng was a little disappointed, he didn't force it anymore. He picked it up anyway. Poor ghost, he muttered, kicked his feet, and the calamity broke free from his feet, destroying the bodies of the two bad guys into powder on the spot. As for the girl's parents, before leaving, he also found a gangster who threatened him with force, gave him a few dollars, and let the gangster pick up the body. He can't. Although he has a fake identity, he can deceive others. For units such as public security organs, he will definitely be deceived. Back at the hotel, under the strange gaze of the lady at the front desk, Tang Feng calmly hugged the unconscious girl wrapped in her windbreaker, covering the blood on her skirt, and returned to the room. He is not a bad person and has never thought of doing bad things, so he has a guilty conscience. Putting the little girl down on the ground, Tang Feng held her with one hand and touched his chin with the other, frowning, looking at the little girl's dirty condition, a little hesitant. Do good people do this in the end? She is now in a coma and can't take a bath. Should he help her, help or not? Tang Feng hesitated and tangled, sitting beside her. One hand was all ready. Chapter 27. The girl with amnesia. Dad? Mother? Hearing this suddenly, Tang Feng, who was invading her personal world, was startled, immediately retracted his hand, looked back with a guilty conscience, and met a pair of innocent and pure eyes. Well, your parents are dead. I asked someone to pick up the corpse for you. As for what happened just now, don't get me wrong. I just saw that your skirt was dirty and I just wanted to change it for you. Don't worry, I didn't even think about taking off the little clothes inside your skirt. You saw it too, you just woke up and I didn't do anything, so if you're worried, you can do it yourself. Tang Feng explained with a mocking smile, moved away a little from the little girl, and stood up. Dad? Mom? The little girl sat up halfway and looked straight at Tang Feng, still chanting these two sentences. Looking at his expression, it was as if she had lost her memory. What's wrong with you? Your parents are dead and they are not here. Do you remember what happened before? Tang Feng felt something was wrong and said tentatively, Dad, Mom, hug. As the little girl spoke, she opened her hands towards Tang Feng, acting like a coquettish begging for a hug. Tang Feng was stunned and scratched his head. The development of the matter seemed to be more troublesome. Hug, I want a hug. The little girl insisted on hugging, but when she saw that Tang Feng had not come, she pursed her lips and burst into tears on the spot. Don't cry. Tang Feng felt a huge pain in his head. A little girl like a child, called Dad and Mom, let him hug. What kind of thing is this? The little girl did not listen. She kept saying hugs and crying. Okay, if I am afraid of you, hug me. In the end, Tang Feng moved forward helplessly, holding her in his arms with both hands. Throwing herself into Tang Feng's arms, the little girl narrowed her eyes slightly, showing an innocent smile like a baby, and stopped crying. Dad, Mom? The little girl seemed to only be able to say a few words and continued to call her parents, still watching Tang Feng yell. I'm not your parents. My name is Tang Feng. Tang Feng looked helpless, noticing that the little girl was about to purse her mouth again, about to cry. Her face darkened. Sure enough, the little girl cried again, and while crying, she called her parents. Okay, don't cry, I'm not your parents. Stop crying. Your parents are gone. Continuous comfort and explanation. The little girl still doesn't listen and continues to cry. Tang Feng sighed. Having experience in coaxing his sister, he had no choice but to come up with a trick. Stop. If you cry again, I'll leave. I don't want you again. Tang Feng pushed the little girl away and said angrily. The little girl was stunned for a moment. She slammed her hands shut and cried even harder. That crying, as if she had been abandoned, was heartbreaking. Tang Feng was stunned and rolled his eyes. Right? How the trick doesn't work. He forgot that although Lisa was young, she was not ignorant and also understood some truths. Seeing the elder brother angrily shouting that he didn't want you, she should be sensible and not make a fuss. However, the little girl is different. She is now like a blank sheet of paper and doesn't understand anything about the world. As for talking about her parents all the time, it's just because even if she loses her memory, she still screams instinctively, "It's okay, I lost to you, you can call it whatever you want." Tang Feng angrily explained that the little girl kept crying and stagnating for a while, and finally ended with Tang Feng's defeat. Tang Feng sighed, compromised, hugged the little girl again and talked to her comfortingly. Laughter. The little girl hugged Tang Feng tightly and laughed innocently, tears still on her cute face. Tang Feng sighed and felt distressed when he saw the little girl like this. Such a good little girl has undergone drastic changes, a good family. Her parents died. She also mutated into a mutant and has the ability to turn into a snake girl, although she was avenged for her ability. She also lost her memory. What would have happened to her if she hadn't met Tang Feng, a kind person who also lost his memory? Speaking of the little girl's amnesia, Tang Feng had some guesses. Because of the tragic death of her relatives, she witnessed it with her own eyes. She couldn't accept it. She subconsciously resisted, chose to forget, and lost her memory. Another possible reason is the variant ability. Mutant ability is all kinds of strange. Among them, the ability that can cause physical changes. Tang Feng is classified as the physical mutation type. For example, Wolverine, Saber-Tooth's mutation ability, is a good thing. Mystique, Blue Devil, Nightcrawler, Red Devil, Beast, including Angel Mutant, they are all on the bedside. Although she has a variant ability, it has changed a lot since then and is permanently fixed. This girl is a little different. Not only can she turn into a human snake, but she can also return to her original state. I don't know if this is the case, whether the variant ability is perfect or not. Anyway, in the transformation of the two forms, it will cause a lot of pressure on the body. Because of this, it was the first time she transformed into a snake girl. In the emotional transformation, one of them was not well controlled and accidentally injured her brain. Tang Feng guessed that when he hugged the girl, he could feel her weak body, as if she was a patient who had recovered from a long-term illness, and he guessed even more. At the same time, he was in trouble. The girl who has lost her memory seems to depend on him and wants to hug him again and call him Dad, Mom. In this case, how can he let the girl go alone? Trouble, trouble. Tang Feng sighed and smiled bitterly. He was in trouble, and the military's pursuit would come at any time. Coupled with the fact that there was a girl like a fuel bottle, he really felt that his future was hopeless. Okay, your skirt is really dirty. Go take a bath first. Tang Feng pushed the girl again and pointed at the skirt. This time, the girl didn't cry, probably because she felt that Tang Feng was no longer resisting her. So she blinked and tilted her head, puzzled. A skirt, take a bath? Tang Feng saw that the girl didn't understand. Depending on the situation, he wants to be a father and a mother, and he has to teach her to take a bath first. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. The attack is approaching again. Linger, it's you. Linger, Dad? Yes, your name is Linger. Your surname is Tang, Tang Linger. And again, I'm not your father, but my brother. My name is Big Brother. Wearing the nightgown provided by the hotel, Tang Feng and Linger are the same, kneeling on the chain facing each other. Linger, Big Brother. Linger first pointed to herself, and then hesitantly pointed at Tang Feng. That's right, your name is Linger. You're the younger sister I recognize, so call me Big Brother. I'll call him that in the future, understand? Tang Feng nodded in relief and said. Linger tilted her head in thought, blinked her bright eyes, and slowly nodded. Tang Feng saw that Linger really understood and would stop yelling. He finally breathed a sigh of relief. He felt a sense of accomplishment in teaching his daughter. Bah, she's my sister, I still recognize her. There's no blood relationship. Thinking desperately, he wiped his sweat, and things weren't as bad as he imagined. Although Linger lost her memory, her body's instincts and what she had learned made her quickly accept what Tang Feng taught her. No matter what it is to teach, As long as it is a basic way of life, Linger will quickly learn it. Tonight, in 3 or 4 hours, Tang Feng basically taught Linger how to bathe, dress, eat with chopsticks, hold a pen, and write. Some of the most basic things. Tang Feng also gave her a name, Tang Linger. Faced with such a similar appearance, the name Linger came out of Tang Feng's mouth involuntarily. As they said so, I simply called it that. Well, I'll learn here tonight. It's so late, so I'll go to bed first. Tang Feng glanced at the time, and before he knew it, it was already 1 o'clock in the morning. Although he wasn't sleepy, he was already used to it and wanted to sleep. Damn calamity. Because of the transformation of the calamity, the body becomes more and more spiritual. The stronger it is, the more capable it is of staying up late. Tang Feng believes that there will come a day when even if you don't sleep for a few days or nights, you will have energy. He is really worried that in the future there will be a situation where he can't sleep even if he wants to. Big brother, big brother. Linger's cry brought Tang Feng back to his senses. He patted her head with his hand and said, "Close your eyes and go to sleep." "Oh." Linger nodded slightly obediently, hugged Tang Feng with both hands, buried her head in his arms and closed her eyes. Tang Feng pulled the quilt and helped her cover herself, then smiled helplessly, feeling her body temperature and thinking of the scene where he taught her to bathe before. He couldn't help but think of it, and his blood was surging, barely suppressing his desire. He wanted to cry without tears, and the night was destined to be long. A little girl is sleeping in his arms. No matter what he does, she won't resist. In this case, how can she sleep? If it weren't for Linger's amnesia, she would be so pitiful and look like the character she loved in her previous life. If it weren't for him, or a bad person, then maybe she would be a beast now. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep. Tang Feng, who couldn't sleep, had no choice but to count sheep. What is a sheep, big brother? Linger opened her eyes curiously, raised her head and asked. Sheep is a monster with long horns. It's very scary. Hurry up and close your eyes, or it will come to bite you. Tang Feng was not angry and scared her. Monster? What is it like? Linger is not afraid. Linger will kill monsters and protect big brother. Linger sat up vigilantly and looked around, only to see that her pupils began to glow with blue light, and some scales appeared on her neck and slender hands. The monster is not here. Relax and sleep. Tang Feng was startled when he saw that he was about to transform, and he didn't know if it would hurt his body if he transformed continuously in a short period of time, so he quickly comforted him. Under Tang Feng's comfort, Linger relaxed, stopped transforming, and lay back in his arms again. Linger is not afraid of monsters. She can help Big Brother kill it. Linger muttered. Okay, Big Brother understood. Close your eyes and go to sleep. Tang Feng shook his head with a wry smile. Even if he lost his memory, he was still a powerful mutant. How could he be like a child, afraid of monsters? In the eyes of ordinary people, Linger is also a monster. Linger definitely wants to protect Tang Feng too, so she will turn into a snake girl without thinking about it. This shows that Linger cares very much about Tang Feng and is very touched. Tang Feng looked at Linger, who closed her eyes and pretended to be asleep, thinking about the future. With her by his side, he will face the army's detention and there will be various dangers. Or take her to the Xavier Academy and put her there. Thinking about it, Tang Feng also slowly fell asleep. The next day, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving Big Brother. Big Brother doesn't want Linger. Linger's tears were blurred, pitiful like an abandoned puppy. Linger, you heard from Big Brother. It's not that he doesn't want you, it's that Big Brother is in trouble and danger, so it's not suitable to take you by his side. Be obedient. Big Brother temporarily placed you in the Xavier Academy and will come back for you. Tang Feng explained with a headache. Linger cried and shook her head. Explain again. Still shaking her head firmly. Explain again. Still shaking her head desperately. She couldn't cry anymore. Her voice was hoarse, and she was heartbroken, as if she couldn't live without Tang Feng. That's right. After the amnesia, the first person Linger saw was Tang Feng. To her, the most important person was Tang Feng. If she leaves Tang Feng, the whole world will feel strange and terrifying to her. Moreover, after her amnesia, She didn't understand anything other than what Tang Feng taught her last night. She didn't understand Tang Feng's words. She knew that she didn't want to leave Tang Feng. "You can't say." Tang Feng slapped his forehead in annoyance, and Linger put on a firm attitude of not listening to anything. There was no way out. Crack, boom. The window glass shattered, and the door was slammed open. A sudden attack is coming. Linger rests strength. Enemy attack. Tang Feng just thought of this idea and quickly looked left and right. A bare and sturdy torso, eyes like animal pupils, a pair of claws that look very sharp, a leopard print tail, slightly bent legs, and a short body. Looking at Tang Feng is like looking at prey. Two people walked in through the door. The first was a tall and thin man with blue skin, and a pair of arms from the forearm down. All of them were sharp edges, and when he raised it, it was like a mantis hunting. The man who followed the mantis man in was a lovely young girl. She was dressed very nicely. Nazi walked in. Her eyes were full of spring, as if overflowing. "What a lovely sister, it's a pity to kill her." The young girl covered her mouth and smiled. "Lovely girl, stop talking nonsense." The man with a leopard tail stared at Tang Feng and said coldly, "I see, the cold-blooded leopard man who doesn't understand style." The charming girl rolled her eyes at him, then looked at Tang Feng and Linger, and said with a tender smile, "Look at me, beautiful." Tang Feng was stunned, and felt an inexplicable energy from the charming girl's eyes, which was immediately destroyed by the disaster. Charm? Knowing the reason immediately, Tang Feng was startled and quickly turned his head to look at Linger. "Kill him," the charming girl's voice came, pointing at Tang Feng. Although she was disappointed with the result of Tang Feng's failed charm, it was also in the military's expected plan. "It's just another arrest plan that has failed." "No, no, Linger can't hurt senior brother." I saw that Linger's eyes were empty. After hearing the charming girl's order, her face struggled and resisted in her heart, and then her pupils turned into snake pupils and transformed again. The snake tail sticks out from the skirt and turns into a snake girl. Her mind is in a cold-blooded state. Linger seems to have the ability to resist the charm. Moreover, her mind is affected by the nature of the snake, and it becomes cold and bloodthirsty. Only when she looked at Tang Feng did she feel a little warm. "No one can hurt senior brother," Linger said in a cold voice. With a flick of her tail, she rushed towards the lovely girl flexibly and quickly. Her slender hands were covered with scales and her nails became sharp. This was how the two people who died last night died. Mantis man. The lovely girl was startled. She didn't expect Linger to be a mutant and could resist her third-level charm ability, so she quickly hid behind the man in front of her. Another mutant. The mantis man squinted and opened his eyes. Two swords, one block, and one strike. Linger, who turned into a snake girl, has a beast-like intuition and is very flexible. Although she had no combat experience, she instinctively knew how to deal with it. She flicked her tail, avoiding the mantis man's attack, and pulled her two slender hands. The mantis man staggered his hands and blocked it in time. With a bang, the terrifying scream of the charming girl came, and a pretty figure was stopped behind the mantis man. It turned out that Linger was unexpected and used her tail to dodge the mantis man and roll the charming woman over. "Stop!" The mantis man was stunned for a moment and screamed on the spot. Linger seemed to be a different person, full of coldness and cruelty. She didn't care about the mantis man's drink or hesitation. Her tail hung on the charming woman's neck. The mantis man's face was pale as he watched Linger let go of her tail and throw the seductive woman's corpse away. He was angry and frightened. He didn't expect Linger to start without hesitation, and it was difficult to deal with. Before launching the attack, I thought she was an ordinary girl, but I didn't expect to be such a tough mutant. In addition to Linger, there is also the target Tang Feng, who is also more difficult to deal with. The mantis man thought, looked at the leopard man, and was shocked on the spot. I saw that the leopard man was surrounded by disaster, and his strong body was quickly turning into a pool of dust. The leopard man is dead? The mantis man's eyes widened. He couldn't believe it, and the leopard man couldn't rest his eyes before he died. In addition to his body far surpassing that of ordinary people, and his regeneration is second only to the golden steel wolf, he also has super fast agility. Unexpectedly, Tang Feng predicted it so easily, and the force of disaster enveloped his entire body. Tang Feng smiled coldly. It was not Quicksilver's extreme speed. In his detection field, it was clear to him. After killing the leopard man, Tang Feng looked at Linger. His face could not hide his astonishment. It seemed that Linger's strength was not weak, and she had a certain ability to protect herself in the face of danger, so she didn't need to worry. In fact, when she stood by and didn't intervene, Linger entangled the mantis man and finally managed to kill it. Although she also suffered some injuries on her body, the injuries are gradually recovering, and the broken scales are falling off and growing again, showing that the regeneration ability is not bad. As long as the heart is not broken and the brain is damaged, she should be able to recover, but it is not as fast as the Golden Steel Wolf. From the strength that Linger is showing now, she has reached the level of a third-level mutant, and it is still the top level. In the face of mental power attacks, level 4 and below can also resist. Tang Feng calculated in his heart that he knew Linger's strength. Linger, change back, clean up, we have to leave here quickly. The hotel rooms are very soundproof. Perhaps there is a reason why the military received them in advance. No one came to check the rooms until the battle was over. Tang Feng said to Linger while packing, until he put the luggage on his back. He looked back and smiled helplessly. Although Linger had transformed back into a human body, she has been silent all the time, and the blood stains on her body have not been cleaned at all. He shook his head, so he had to carry Linger to the bathroom and hurriedly help her clean it up. Then, he took Linger out of the hotel and did not leave Lavis, but stayed in another hotel. Chapter 30. Together, even if Tang Feng's arrest failed, the military didn't want to cause too much of a commotion, so with the military's intervention, the attack on the hotel was quickly suppressed and did not affect Tang Feng's change of hotel. Tang Feng changed hotels, and while eating with Linger in the hotel, he was secretly in a bad mood. The military stalking made him very angry and he wanted to get revenge, but he didn't know how to get revenge or who to get revenge on. He couldn't just cause a catastrophe just because he was angry, right? If he does, it will only anger the military and everyone will unite to deal with him. It is also because of his threat that the military has been making small troubles, not launching a large-scale army and using unconventional weapons to deal with him. No matter how you think about it, it seems that there is no way for revenge, and the person in charge of the attack is unknown. Even if they guessed that it was Colonel Stryker, they didn't know he was there, let alone get revenge on him. Annoyance, annoyance, annoyance. Tang Feng continued to eat depressedly, and soon found that everyone around him was staring at him. His face froze, because the calamity would automatically help him digest his food. So he couldn't bear it no matter how he ate it, so he ate too much unknowingly. Moreover, Linger, as a mutant with a mutant body, the transformation just now also consumed a lot of stamina, so Linger ate a lot to replenish his stamina. Therefore, in the eyes of the people around, it is just 2 buckets of rice, too much to eat, and the big stomach king can't compare. Waiter, check. Tang Feng looked embarrassed, checked the bill on the spot, and Linger left. On the street, looking at Linger up and down, Tang Feng began to take Linger shopping, helping her buy clothes and some daily necessities. By the way, I also called Charles and asked him to help Linger get a new ID card, called Tang Linger's ID card. As for Linger's previous ID card, Tang Feng didn't find it, and he didn't want to look for her or any other relative's previous identity. Anyway, Linger only cares about him now, not anyone, and she is stubborn in not letting him. In this case, just wait for Linger to regain her memory. Okay, this one looks good, wrap it up for me. Wow, this one is pretty good too. Beautiful, it's so pretty to wear, I must buy it. Maid outfit, princess outfit, Cheongsam outfit, innocent outfit, cute outfit, fashion outfit, nurse outfit. They let Linger try them on one by one, making Tang Feng a delight to the eyes. Moreover, the most important thing is the Chinese style. When Linger put on the retro dress, Tang Feng seemed to see that the Linger on TV in the previous life really came out and called him with an attached face, Big Brother. At this moment, no one could stop Tang Feng's enthusiasm for shopping. Don't you have any money? What a joke. A mere dollar can't beat Tang Feng. As Tang Feng carried Linger into the small alley, through the scouting field, he brought her to the door of the gangster boss, strolled around, and soon the dollar automatically came to the door. All the bad guys who spied on Linger's beauty will give Tang Feng a severe beating, and then blackmail him again. Tang Feng happily counted the dollars and continued to go shopping with Linger. Linger happily followed Tang Feng. She didn't understand what Tang Feng was doing, but she didn't want anything, as long as she could follow Tang Feng and not drive her away. I don't know how long I have been shopping, it's already afternoon. Tang Feng looked at the big bag and the small bag in his hand. Linger also took a lot, and finally was willing to announce that he would not go shopping, find a restaurant and sit down to order food. Linger didn't know what to eat, so Tang Feng decided, "Big brother, Linger wants to pee." Soon after sitting down, Linger spoke bluntly. Her face was not embarrassed. She didn't understand this. "If you have urine, say it. Tang Feng taught you last night. If you have urine, go to the toilet to solve it. I taught you how to do it last night, remember?" Tang Feng pointed to the toilet on the left and asked, "Well, remember?" Linger thought for a moment and nodded again and again. "So, go ahead, don't forget to flush the toilet and wash your hands after you're done, especially don't wet your skirt." Tang Feng warned, "Big brother, accompany Linger." Linger took Tang Feng's hand and said excitedly, "No, you're going to the women's bathroom. Big brother can't accompany you." Tang Feng explained with a headache, and spoke softly subconsciously, afraid that the people around him would hear him. But Linger looked pitiful, coquettish, and tangled, so she wanted to go with Tang Feng. "Linger is good, you can go to the bathroom quickly, Big brother is waiting for you here." Tang Feng reluctantly coaxed her that even if she didn't go to the women's bathroom with Linger, it would be very embarrassing to stand outside. She really didn't want that. Fortunately, although Linger had lost her memory, she was not a child who didn't understand anything. She quickly accepted things and didn't slap the ground. Tang Feng insisted that Linger was pitiful and had to go to the bathroom alone. He turned his head 3 times and glanced reluctantly, as if he was afraid that Tang Feng would leave in the blink of an eye. In the fitting room, when Linger was trying on clothes, even if Tang Feng was outside the door, Linger was afraid that Tang Feng would not be seen. If it weren't for Tang Feng teaching Linger how to wear clothes last night, then maybe Tang Feng would have to help him even try on clothes. "Go and come back quickly, Big brother is waiting for you here," Tang Feng said with a funny wave of his hand. Linger nodded, kept walking, looked back, walked slowly, and finally entered the women's bathroom. Tang Feng shrugged and shook his head. Although Linger is very annoying, surprisingly, he enjoys Linger's crush. Linger's appearance exactly like Linger made Tanger and Linger not only happy and willing when they stayed together, but also fulfilled the fantasy of the previous life. While Tanger was waiting, because Linger was just going to the bathroom, he did not use the sensing field and did not know that Linger was attacked when he went to the bathroom. Chapter 31 Mystical Raid. This is the women's bathroom. Linger reluctantly looked away from Tang Feng, closed the bathroom door, and then thought about it. According to what Tang Feng taught last night, she chose a single room with no one to enter, and then Linger thought and proceeded. Although the process was a little slow, she did not make any mistakes. Just as she finished urinating and opened the door to go out, a familiar and unfamiliar woman appeared in front of her and pushed her in. The single-room bathroom door closed again, and there was not much space inside. There were 2 women standing opposite each other. They were still women who looked the same, wearing the same clothes, the same height, and both fat and thin. They are both Linger. The difference is that one is real and the other is fake. Linger is very strange, tilting her head, blinking, and wanting to hold her little finger, but thinking of Tang Feng's words, she hasn't washed her hands, so she doesn't include him. "Who are you? Are you Linger too?" Very strange words, and the words of a very young child, came out of Linger's mouth. Another Linger is not surprising, Linger would ask an idiot. Before that, as he secretly observed, Linger's brain was a little wrong. "Quick fight," he thought, and immediately stabbed Linger's neck with a knife. "Do you want to fight, Linger? You are a badass." Although he did not transform the first time, Linger was aware of the passive sense of danger in advance. As he dodged backwards, green scales appeared, the vertical pupils opened, and the tail flicked forward. Mutant, not good. The Linger who launched the attack was shocked. He did not expect Linger to be a mutant. He had no time to think about it. He staggered forward with his hands and was knocked down by his tail on the spot. Failed. Feeling the damage on her body, she stood up from the ground with a wry smile, and her appearance gradually turned into a cyan complexion, which was ugly. She was Mystique. If Mystique knew exactly what happened in the attack on the hotel in the morning, she would know that Linger was a mutant thing. But although she knew it, she didn't see it with her own eyes. She only thought that Tang Feng had solved the enemy sent by the military. It was this intelligence error that turned Mystique into Linger, and the task of contacting Tang Feng failed. Wait, listen to my explanation. Seeing that Linger was about to continue attacking, Mystique hurriedly shouted. Linger didn't listen. She only listened to Tang Feng's words. She only remembered that Tang Feng said that no matter who it is, whoever dares to shoot at you, then show no mercy and kill the other party. She kept Tang Feng's words in mind. Her two slender hands were beautiful and dangerous, and they attacked Mystique, and her tail was also waiting for an opportunity. Ah! There are monsters. God! Run! Help! Boom boom. Mystique has been through hundreds of battles, and her physical fitness is beyond that of ordinary people, and she knows all kinds of fighting skills. Therefore, it can be said that the two women are against each other, and they can't tell who the winner is for a while. As a result, the women's bathroom suffered. All the bathrooms, doors and walls, as well as the women who went to the bathroom, were all affected by the battle between the two women. One by one, the women fled from the women's bathroom in horror, and some of them didn't even have time to lift their skirts, so they ran out like this, looking embarrassed, and there was a faint smell. Linger, who has become a snake girl, is cold-hearted, only snake-like in nature, killing, not caring about the situation around her, only caring about fighting. Mystique was also not a good person, and she didn't even care. The movement of the two women in the women's bathroom definitely alarmed the people outside. Tang Feng watched the women scream and escape. His face condensed and extended the exploration field, and he immediately knew what happened in the women's bathroom. Mystique, Brotherhood. Tang Feng narrowed his eyes, exuding a murderous aura. He was angry. No matter what purpose Mystique had, he was now fighting Linger. If it weren't for Linger's disadvantage, then Linger would not turn into a snake girl to fight. When he thought that Linger was attacked without his knowledge, if the enemy was stronger and stunned or killed Linger, he would not be alarmed. The more I think about it, the more scared I feel. Man-made disaster. As Tang Feng walked towards Linger, he activated the disaster skill to help. As the disaster unfolded, Mystique was quickly affected, and was going to kick and attack, slip and fall. Mystique's face changed, and she had a strong sense of balance. She hurriedly bent down, twisted, and quickly adjusted her body. But Linger seized the opportunity and Xianxian pulled her right hand, and the sharp tips of her fingers created a wound on Mystique's chest. Immediately after taking advantage of the attack, the tail slammed down. When Mystique was in a hurry, she just snorted and put her hands in front of her, and was thrown out, flying backwards from the women's bathroom to the outside and slipping a distance on the smooth floor. Come on, there's a mutant fighting. The mutant is causing trouble again. The guests saw Mystique's figure, and then saw Linger swimming with her tail, with a cold look and shouting in panic. The battle of mutants will always spread to the surrounding area, causing dead men or a loss. Ordinary people now know one thing: accidentally encountering a mutant fight, don't hesitate, just run. The guests rushed out and ran away. Even the waiters and bosses were no exception. Mystique, tell me, how do you want to die? Tang Feng no longer cared about revealing his whereabouts. He walked in front of Mystique with a cold face, and then said to Linger, okay, restore your body. You just transformed in the morning and the wear and tear on your body has not recovered. Linger's icy expression only softened when she faced Tang Feng. She nodded lightly and recovered her body. When the snake girl's form disappeared, Linger's face turned pale, her body softened, and she was about to fall to the ground. Chapter 32 Cooperation with the Brotherhood. Linger. Tang Feng was startled, hurriedly hugged her, and asked worriedly, "What do you think? Can your body still hold on?" "Big brother, Linger is so tired, so hungry, and so sore." Linger's pale face said pitifully, "Well, I see, Big brother will take you back to rest first." Tang Feng anxiously comforted Linger, then looked at Mystique and said, "If you don't want to die, just follow me." After finishing speaking, Tang Feng took Linger out of here. Mystique hesitantly didn't dare to ignore Tang Feng's threat, so she had to follow. After the three of Tang Feng left, the late police arrived. Back to the hotel room, Tang Feng asked the hotel to prepare food and bring it over, so that Linger would be full, and told her to rest. "Big brother, Linger is no longer sleepy or tired and doesn't want to sleep." Linger took Tang Feng's hand and said excitedly, "Be good, be obedient, go to sleep first. Big brother will stay by your side and won't leave." Tang Feng hugged Linger and could feel that her body was still weak, which proved that she was lying, so he had to comfort her. "Well, big brother, don't leave Linger." Hearing Tang Feng's assurance, Linger closed her eyes and quickly fell asleep. Even when she fell asleep, she still held Tang Feng's hand tightly with one hand, as if she was afraid that Tang Feng would leave her. This morning, Linger still remembered that Tang Feng was going to send her off, which made her worry all the time and kept it in her mind. So, worried that Tang Feng would disappear when she fell asleep, she learned to lie without a teacher. "Really, I learned to lie so quickly." Sure enough, lying is a woman's nature. The more beautiful a woman is, the more she will lie. Tang Feng smiled and muttered to himself, holding Linger's small hand with a little force in his hand. He was in a complicated mood and had mixed feelings. He found that the more he got along with Linger, the more reluctant he was to part with Linger in the face of his infatuation and entanglement. Is this the fate arranged by God? It's really frustrating. Tang Feng sighed. Although he thought so, he did not reject this kind of fate. After thinking for a while, he finally recovered his mood, looked at Mystique, who had been sitting quietly at the side and had turned into a beautiful woman, and calmly said, "Give me a reason not to kill you." "I didn't hurt her heart. I just wanted to knock her out and then turn into her to touch you. Trust me, and in our brotherhood, there is absolutely no reason to hurt you." Mystique's heart skipped a beat. She immediately stood up and explained uneasily, "Humphrey, no malice. It's better to say it than to sing it. A few days ago, Quicksilver of your brotherhood almost captured Lisa. Today, you want to knock Linger unconscious again. My two younger sisters have been killed by your brotherhood. How dare you say that there is no malicious intention?" The more Tang Feng said, the angrier he felt. He felt that the brotherhood was too restless and was not compatible with him. Originally, the military's arrest gave him a headache, and now he has the brotherhood to mess with him, which is really annoying. Thinking of the military's arrest, Tang Feng's heart moved. Looking at Mystique, he suddenly had an idea. "It's not like that, please believe us. There is absolutely no malice. Quicksilver's action was his own decision, not the Brotherhood's business, and it did not hurt your sister's heart." "Me too," Mystique quickly explained. "Whether there is malice or not, it is not the reason for you to shoot." Tang Feng's face was cold, and he waved his other hand at Mystique, and a catastrophe of color appeared. The dark red rolled towards her. Mystique was horrified. She backed away again, and finally avoided it. She looked at the sofa that had disappeared beside her, and her fearful heart could not calm down for a long time. "This is a warning. Next time, no matter what the reason is, no matter who it is, if anyone shoots my sister, I will definitely kill him," Tang Feng said in a cold and murderous voice. "I understand, Brotherhood. I will also carry your words with me." Mystique tried to calm down the turbulent emotions and nodded heavily. She swore that if there was nothing important, not what Eric told her, she would never contact Tang Feng. "Tang Feng is really a very dangerous person. This is for the best. Then tell me, what is your purpose for approaching me?" Tang Feng's face softened and he asked, "My purpose is to invite you to join our brotherhood." Mystique spoke quickly and bluntly, "Hey, it's just an invitation to me. Why do you need to do this to my sister? If you were honest, there wouldn't be so much." Tang Feng pouted. He really didn't understand Mystique's thoughts. Mystique's expression froze, and she regretted it. She was used to this way of doing things. If you know Linger's strength in advance and learn more about how much Tang Feng values Linger, you will definitely not do this. Then what do you think about joining our brotherhood? If you can join our brotherhood, I believe that not only will the brotherhood be stronger and more deterrent, but you won't have to worry about being arrested by the military. Mystique asked tentatively. Don't ask that. I don't want to join the brotherhood. However, we can cooperate. Tang Feng first waved his hand to refuse, with a firm tone, and then proposed cooperation. Cooperation? How do you want to cooperate? Mystique was disappointed that Tang Feng couldn't join the brotherhood, and then asked unexpectedly. Tang Feng does not join the brotherhood, but the two can work together, as long as they do not become enemies. Because, through various intelligence analysis, Tang Feng is above the strength of the 4th level mutant, so even if there is Magneto Eric's brotherhood, he does not want to be an enemy of Tang Feng. Chapter 33 Enlightenment. Tang Feng's proposed cooperation, Mystique immediately agreed on behalf of the brotherhood, and Tang Feng did not hesitate to ask for it. He was embarrassed and nodded directly. After all, what Tang Feng has to do is still beneficial to the situation of the brotherhood and mutant. Perhaps, if Charles were here, he would not agree. After understanding Tang Feng's thoughts, Mystique also had some thoughts in her heart. Tang Feng and Charles are not the same kind of people, but their behavior and ideas are closer to the brotherhood. After agreeing on the cooperation matters and agreeing on the next meeting, Mystique hurriedly left, as if there were ghosts haunting her. Although she thinks that Tang Feng and the brotherhood have similar behaviors, and everyone is the same, Tang Feng's danger is not reduced, but even greater. Mystique did not dare to stay in front of Tang Feng, for fear that she would accidentally disturb him and turn into dust. Tang Feng's calamity, the dark red energy, left a deep impression on her. The next step is to wait for your good news. I hope that the information from the brotherhood will not disappoint me. Tang Feng thought about it, smiled coldly, looked at Linger's cute sleeping appearance, and returned to a gentle face. He is now a little hesitant about his hesitation. What should he do next? Should he bring Linger with him? If he brings him, Linger will face all the unknown dangers with him. If he doesn't bring him, Linger will not separate from him, not to mention that he will not let Zinner leave his side. It turns out that before I knew it, I cared so much about Linger. Tang Feng exhaled lightly and touched his heart with one hand. At this moment, he examined his heart and brightened. Okay, reluctant, then we will not separate. With Linger's strength and my protection, I don't believe that anyone can hurt Linger. Tang Feng's eyes were fixed, and he had already made a decision in his heart. After making this decision, he felt relieved and was no longer entangled. Time passed slowly in the ticking of the clock. How does your body feel? Has there been any change? The strength seems to have increased. Well, you seem to have more energy. Could it be that when you became a snake girl, the changes in your body, although hurting your body, would also transform your body at the same time? When Linger wakes up, Tang Feng has a decision, thinking about keeping Linger by his side. He must find out about Linger's ability. After investigation and verification, Linger's situation is very optimistic. Linger's ability, although every time she transforms, will put a lot of pressure on her body, but at the same time, it is also gradually transforming her body, making her originally fragile body gradually stronger than ordinary people. That is to say, with more transformations, the fragile body has been transformed, and Linger can be worthy of the transformed Superman. With a serum based solely on the quality of the human body, with a body of that level, even if she transforms into a snake girl, it will not cause harm to the body, and she can transform at any time, and the transformation power will also be strengthened. After a detailed understanding, Tang Feng realized that every time Linger transformed, she would feel severe pain. Since the body will transform, even if it transforms gradually, it will bring pain to the body. The degree of this pain, Tang Feng looked at Linger's little face, unable to hide the fear, and knew that it must be very painful, very uncomfortable. Since the transformation will be so painful, Why don't you tell senior brother? Tang Feng said distressedly. Linger didn't think about it. Linger only knows that even if it hurts to transform, Linger has to transform. In order to protect senior brother, Linger tilted her head to think, raised her little head and said, "It's nonsense. Senior brother is stronger than you, so I don't need your protection. I'm almost protecting you." Tang Feng raised his index finger playfully and tapped Linger's forehead, pitying her and feeling warm. "Well, Big Brother is very strong. That Big Brother protects Linger, and Linger also protects Big Brother." Linger nodded again and again, still insisting on the idea of protecting Tang Feng. Okay, I really lost to you. So, in order for you to have enough strength to protect your big brother, from now on, you must transform a lot. The transformation is painful. Can you endure it? Although Tang Feng couldn't endure it, he still insisted on doing this, enduring the pain for a while, in exchange for a long-term stable transformation and becoming stronger. It was worth it. Linger can endure it. As long as it is a big brother, Linger will listen. Although Linger's little face showed fear, she still nodded. Linger, you are so obedient, you are so adorable. Tang Feng was startled, became very excited, and couldn't help but hug her. Laughter. Although Linger was ignorant, she instinctively felt that Tang Feng's love for her had completely accepted her. She couldn't help but smile sweetly, squinting her eyes, like a kitten, burying her head in Tang Feng's arms. Tang Feng originally thought that in the next few days, he would be alone, facing arrests by the military and various threats. Unexpectedly, they will meet Linger. With Linger's company, he no longer feels lonely. No matter how dangerous or long the journey is, he has the confidence to continue. Next, because Linger's body is still fragile for the time being, her body transformation cannot be rushed, so Linger, who has transformed twice today, cannot transform again for the time being. So in the hotel, Tang Feng, who had nothing to do, simply asked Linger to try on the clothes and show them to him. During the process, some very interesting things happened. Chapter 34 Information is available. Big Brother. Linger still has an endless aftertaste, wearing a cheongsam. Cough, cough, cough. Tang Feng coughed a few times, while comforting Linger. He smiled embarrassedly at the waitress who was busy with work. The waitress looked at Tang Feng and Linger with a bit of deep meaning, and quickly moved to clean up the room, and then hurried out, so as not to disturb the couple who were fooling around. Tang Feng was relieved when he saw the waitress come out, and shrugged his shoulders playfully. His face was still a little thinner. "Linger, are you happy?" Tang Feng hugged Linger again and smiled. "Linger is happy." Linger widened her eyes and said with certainty, "Just be happy." Tang Feng laughed. For 3 days in a row, Tang Feng accompanied Linger to act in Levis. In the eyes of outsiders, this is a couple in love, sweet and sincere, giving single dogs 10,000 critical hits. If Mystique hadn't appeared in front of him, Tang Feng would still be in the two-person world. "Just order whatever you want, you're welcome." "Have you brought the information I want?" Tang Feng sat on one side with Linger, while Mystique sat on the other side. She pushed the menu towards Mystique happily and asked expectantly, "Bring it, here's the information you want." Seeing that Tang Feng was in a good mood, Mystique put aside her nervousness and quickly handed a USB flash drive to Tang Feng. "Very well." Tang Feng put away the USB flash drive, smiled. Murderous aura swept over him, and he quickly calmed down. "Eric told me, if you have time, please meet him." Mystique said directly. "Magneto, he's gone for now. I'll talk about it when I'm free." Tang Feng was non-committal and dealt with it at will. Even if they met, he could guess what Magneto would say. It's nothing more than Mutant's future, ideal or something, and he doesn't want to listen to it. "Call me when you're free," Mystique reminded helplessly and then left. "I said you're in a hurry. You have to eat before you leave. Tang Feng waved his hand and said to hold her back. He was in a good mood and had the information he wanted. Tang Feng didn't care about what Brotherhood had done earlier and the skirmish with Mystique. Mystique hesitated for a moment, and considering it rude to leave in such a hurry, sat back down. It wasn't long before all kinds of food arrived, and much more. Tang Feng said to Mystique. According to his habit, He tasted each dish first and carefully felt the movement of the calamity in his body. There was no abnormality and nodded lightly. "You can eat now." Hearing Tang Feng's words, Linger picked up the chopsticks to pick up the vegetables. When Mystique saw this scene, her heart moved. She had guesses, and thought to herself, is the test dish poisonous? Tang Feng dares to try dishes like this, that is, to prove that he is not afraid of poisoning? Analyzing Tang Feng's intelligence, Mystique verified another point. Tang Feng doesn't care either. He is talking to Linger. "You take a bite." "I take a bite. It's very sweet." Mystique's face frowns, and she was force-fed dog food without any preparation. When she thought of their unfortunate relationship, she felt extremely depressed and ate in a bad mood. At the same time, she was also very surprised. She didn't expect Tang Feng to have such a side. It was not like the usual one. As a man and woman in love, it is impossible to understand, and Tang Feng doesn't quite understand why he can do such a childish thing. He just wanted to do that and he did it. He believed in a word, as long as it came from the heart, no one could resist it. A happy feeding finally ended. Tang Feng was content to help Linger wipe her mouth, and then bid farewell to Mystique. However, Mystique left with a displeased face. Tang Feng shrugged, ignoring Mystique's mood, took Linger back to the hotel, and began to wait for him. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of some people. These 13 are the targets. The USB flash drive provided by Mystique was being inserted into the host computer. Tang Feng quickly decided who would be the candidate for revenge based on the military intelligence provided by Mystique. 13 targets. Some of them are the Black Hand who made the action plan to arrest him. Some are the die-hard anti-mutant side, who are declaring Tang Feng's threat everywhere, and the rest are not innocent. At least for mutant. For Tang Feng, everything is a curse. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 of their respective actions. The 13 targets were all military figures, but Colonel Stryker was not among them. Even with the Brotherhood's intelligence sources, it was difficult to accurately locate Colonel Stryker's hideout. Elusive and difficult to locate. Tang Feng felt uneasy inside, as expected of the villain that mutant hated, but he couldn't help it. He was too cautious. He was confident and determined. If he knew Colonel Stryker's exact whereabouts, he would not say anything and would kill him first. Tang Feng only believes in one sentence: a dead villain is a good choice. Forget it. Let him live for a while. Tang Feng learned from the Brotherhood's intelligence that Colonel Stryker is the biggest one behind the scenes, so no matter how hard it is to find him, he will not let him go. Linger, have you packed up and are you ready to go? Taking out and putting away the USB flash drive, Tang Feng stood up from his chair and turned his head to ask, "Big brother, that's it?" Linger wiped her sweat and pointed at a few suitcases beside her with her small hand, as well as a few large packed bags, which were piled up all around. Tang Feng's face froze for a moment. The corners of his mouth twitched, as if he had too much luggage. "Linger, there is too much luggage. We have to pack light. We can't carry so much." Tang Feng thought about it with a headache and said, "No way. These clothes are so beautiful." Linger is so reluctant to give them up. "My elder brother also loves to see Linger wear these clothes." Linger looked reluctant. She touched the suitcase from left to right, and took out a thin and fresh dress. This dress, the fabric is poor, just a few straps and a palm-sized cloth. Tang Feng couldn't help but take a closer look. He was unwilling, hesitated for a moment, and said, "It's best if we don't lose these clothes. They are all stored up, and we can find a place to settle down and then get them back." Linger wouldn't oppose Tang Feng's decision. Before leaving, she just reluctantly said goodbye to the stored clothes. "Okay. Don't look at it. There are a lot of beautiful clothes. I'm afraid you will forget it in the end." Tang Feng shook his head and took Linger to leave quickly. "Linger won't forget. This is what my elder brother likes to see Linger wear," Linger said with a look of certainty. Okay, my elder brother is wrong." Tang Feng smiled softly, walked away from Linger, and left Levis. How is the research on the X virus going? A secret research institute, Colonel Stryker asked the researcher in white. The progress is not very smooth, and it may not be researched in a short period of time. The researcher frowned. His mental state was very bad, and he said tiredly, I have increased the research funding, not to listen to these words. In any case, I don't ask for perfection, but just to work, and it can temporarily suppress the mutant ability. Give me a deadline. Colonel Stryker's gloomy words were firm and unwavering. The researcher's pressure increased sharply, and he didn't dare not listen, so he had to estimate in his heart with sweat on his face, and finally gritted his teeth and said, half a year, no, 4 uses, the shortest is 4 months, and you can have preliminary results. Seeing the expression on Colonel Stryker's face, the researcher's request became shorter and shorter until it reached 4 months. Okay, I'll give you 4 months. At that time, if you haven't researched it, you are useless. Colonel Stryker nodded slowly, leaving a warning as he left. The researcher collapsed in fear after Colonel Stryker left. Virus X, Weapon X. Colonel Stryker walked, thinking about the current research plan. No matter what kind of research, it will not be successful in a short time. Although there are successful examples of Weapon X, the successful experiments have all escaped, and the weapons he controls are not strong enough to be Tang Feng's opponent. The Leopard Man, the Mantis Man, and the Charming Woman are the most useful and top-tier weapons in his hands, but unfortunately, he still can't do anything to Tang Feng, and he lost 3 weapons in vain. 4 months later, Virus X plus a new type of Weapon X. Colonel Stryker's eyes flickered. He calculated in his heart, and shook his head quickly, still not sure how to deal with Tang Feng. He has always known how difficult it is to deal with a 4th-level mutant, and, he may be. Tang Feng's intractability made Colonel Stryker's hair turn white. The poisonous tricks in his heart came out one by one. Lisa, as well as the information of Uncle Tang Feng's home, were considered in their arrest plan. The so-called disaster is not as good as the family. Uncle Tang Feng's family are all ordinary people, and it is not easy to get started. Not out of kindness of heart, but out of concerns about Charles, Brotherhood, Hellfire Club, all of mutants rage flames. Every mutant has ordinary relatives. If they want to deal with mutant, they will target their relatives recklessly, then this society will be in chaos. Even ordinary people who have nothing to do with themselves will not agree. Ordinary relatives have scruples, but they are also Mutant's sister, so there is no problem. Colonel Stryker thought of Lisa's ability and also wanted to obtain it. It's time to think of an idea and get her out of Xavier Academy, so we can get started. Colonel Stryker laughed and soon had an idea. It's him, one of the targets. Tang Feng took Linger to the abandoned city a few days later, a city with a long history. He and Linger disguised themselves a little and sat in the cafe by the floor-to-ceiling windows. In the eyes of ordinary people, they were just an ordinary sweet couple. Tang Feng pretended to have an intimate conversation with Linger, while paying attention to the middle-aged senior who was walking towards an armed military vehicle across the street under the protection of several soldiers. Chapter 36 Weakness is the original sin. The revenge plan begins. Tang Feng raised the corner of his mouth, took one last look at the target, and whispered to himself, car accident, man-made accident. Disaster skill activated. Before the accident happened, Tang Feng took Linger away first, because since he saw the target was doomed to die and there would be no second outcome. Sir, please get in the car. A soldier respectfully helped the middle-aged senior open the car door, while the rest of the soldiers were vigilant and guarded. The middle-aged senior nodded slightly, sat in the back row, and the armed military vehicle soon started. The next step is to return to the base and contact Colonel Stryker again to discuss how to capture that mutant. The previous arrests have failed, it is difficult to handle, and he has suddenly lost his whereabouts these days. Damn mutant, monster. Why does the mutant exist? The middle-aged man was lying on his back in the back row, squinting and thinking about things. His face was full of hatred and yearning that could not be concealed. As an ordinary person, he also wants to become a mutant. Maybe he has the ability of immortality, and even if he doesn't have it, he may have power beyond ordinary people. Unfortunately, he is not a mutant. What a mutant! It is not for us to bully and kill. He sneered, cursed, and vented his unhappy emotions. Attention! There are circumstances. Suddenly, the reminder from the soldiers sitting in the front row made the middle-aged man stunned for a moment. He immediately became alert and hurriedly asked, "What's going on?" "It's ahead." "Be careful, turn the steering wheel to the right." The soldier sitting in the passenger seat, just about to answer, his pupils shrank, his face was horrified, and he shouted loudly. The driver's response was also very quick. He turned right the first time, stepped on the accelerator, pulled the handbrake and slid across the floor. Ju-do-ju-do. The big truck in front made a harsh horn sound and crashed into it fiercely, without slowing down, and the dodging armed military vehicle almost grazed past, escaped. The soldiers in the car and the middle-aged major let out a heavy sigh, and their hearts were beating violently. "Check it out for me. I want to know if this is an accident or an accidental car accident caused by someone." The middle-aged major's face was pale, his words were squeezed between his teeth. "Yes, sir, officer, it's not good, be careful behind." The middle-aged major was startled, and when he looked back, his face was miserable. Because of the need to avoid the big truck, the armed military vehicle swerved on the spot and stopped in the middle of the road, and a fuel tanker quickly arrived behind it. From beginning to end, the tanker didn't honk its horn. "God, the horn is broken and the pedal car is not running. He's dead," the tanker driver muttered in despair, slumped on his back, looking like he was waiting to die. "Come on, sir." Before the middle-aged man could reply, the soldier beside him violently pulled him over, opened the door, and pushed him hard. At a critical moment, he was finally pushed away from the armed military vehicle. Boom! The collision between the armed military vehicle and the fuel tanker, the vehicle parts scattered and splashed, and then there was a loud explosion and flames raged. He escaped. The middle-aged man rolled a few times on the driveway, and finally stopped at the side of the road. He was still in shock, and his face was still pale. "I will take good care of your family." Gratefully, he assured the dead soldier that he just wanted to return to the sidewalk on the side of the road. It might be the turbulent emotions of the rest of his life, but he didn't come to his senses. He didn't notice the water marks on the ground slipping under his feet, and he fell forward. Instead, a piece of thorny iron came into view. It was an exploding vehicle, and the sizzling iron sheet stabbed into his eyes, penetrated deep into his brain, and died on the spot. "Is this god of death the one who wants me to die?" The middle-aged senior's last thought was this idea. On another street, Tang Feng knew from the scanning field that the target was dead, and then he withdrew the disaster skill, bowed his head, and said to Linger, "The first target is dead. We will abandon the abandoned city," followed by other targets. When the disaster skill is activated, it is not under his control. No matter how much disaster is caused or how many innocent lives are affected, it is not his decision. Therefore, he can only silently say to the innocent people who died, "I am sorry." It is impossible for him not to use the skill because it affects innocent people. At this point, he deeply realized a phrase: weakness is the original sin. Soon, Tang Feng and Linger left the abandoned city. The accidental death of the middle-aged senior, after careful investigation by the military, was attributed to an accident. It's just that there were too many accidents, so the middle-aged senior died. They can only sigh. This is too bad luck. Dead? Accident? No, there is a problem. It is impossible for so many accidents to happen at once. Tell me, where is Tang Feng? Colonel Stryker was furious when he heard that his subordinates had died, and he immediately realized that something was wrong. There must be something wrong. Report, sir. There is no whereabouts of the target for the time being, but the target was found to be near the abandoned city before it disappeared. Hearing his subordinate's reply, Colonel Stryker was startled. He was busy with other things these days and did not pay attention to Tang Feng at all times. I really didn't know where Tang Feng was, and he was temporarily lost. As soon as he disappeared, he was still near the abandoned city, and Lois died in an accident. That's right, it must be his ability. He is taking revenge on our army. Colonel Stryker's face was ugly. He paced back and forth and said angrily, "It's difficult for ordinary people to know the whereabouts of our military personnel. Who did you get the information from? Check for me, not only to find out Tang Feng's whereabouts as soon as possible, but also to find out who he is and give him information. Also, the person who notified us, hide him carefully for the time being and don't give Tang Feng a chance to retaliate." Colonel Stryker finished speaking coldly and left in a hurry. Just in case, he had to hide his whereabouts temporarily. As for why, he simply informed his subordinates, this is because even if they belong to the military, there are factions. As long as someone who is not theirs dies, the rest of the military personnel will die, and it may also reduce their political enemies. Chapter 37. No, it's delicious. Since the beginning of the revenge operation, Tang Feng and Linger have been careful to hide their traces. For the military, as long as they stay in the country, no matter how they hide, they can find out where Tang Feng is. However, it will not be so timely, and it is impossible to know Tang Feng's whereabouts at any time. Tang Feng took advantage of this and killed the first target before the military could react. And then the military reacted. No, really, Colonel Stryker reacted. The 3 targets Tang Feng was looking for were not found. This old fox reacts very quickly. Tang Feng cursed in his heart. He knew this, so he would be the first to take action against Colonel Stryker's subordinates. It's a pity that after killing one, there is no chance to start. How can you find him? Tang Feng called the contact number Mystique gave and said depressedly, "They hid it so well that I can't find it for the time being. It will take a while." "Okay, let me know when you find out," Tang Feng said helplessly, turned off the phone, and sighed. "There is no other way, so I have to find other targets." "A mutant is a monster, shouldn't it exist?" "I don't think you should exist." Tang Feng narrowed his eyes at the information about the other targets, and the anger in his heart could not be suppressed. In any case, he also belongs to mutant, and his position is different. Even if you don't care much about the future of mutant, you only care about becoming stronger and living well with your own people. However, Tang Feng did not refuse to do something for mutant. "Red Devil, this nickname is yours, so I will make it worthy of the name." Tang Feng smiled grimly, turned his head to look beside him. He was eating ice cream in small sips and sticking out his tongue from time to time. Linger said, "Come on, let's go to Luoshan City." "Big brother, can you wait and let Linger finish eating first?" Linger looked at the desserts on the table reluctantly and begged. "Gluttony, eat quickly, big brother will help you eat." Tang Feng ate the remaining ice cream in Linger's hand in one bite. "Big brother, what else?" Linger blinked, and her small hand pointed at the ice cream at the corner of her mouth. Tang Feng slapped his forehead angrily. "This kind of thing, there are so many people around. He just, really delicious." Tang Feng remembered that he took Linger, found a gangster to rent a car, and drove to Luoshan City. Luoshan City is also known as the City of the Great Desolate Angeles, also known as the City of Science and Technology. It ranks second and is also a metropolis, second only to New York. Tang Feng's target this time is a member of parliament. Without really getting close to the city, Tang Feng was in a remote area, avoiding all places that the military might find. As for the gangster, he temporarily stayed at a friend's house with a gloomy face. "Big brother, put your foot down." Linger was dragging the floor, cleaning up the messy room. Tang Feng sat on the sofa, raised his feet at will, and focused on finding someone. The detection field has extended to the entire Luoshan City. Through intelligence, the target area has been locked. After careful investigation, the target is quickly locked. This is 1,000 miles to take people's heads. The corners of Tang Feng's mouth twitched. From the perspective of God, using the disaster skill, he could easily decide a person's life or death. He really seemed to be a god who ignored human life. He sees all living beings as ants, high above. Tang Feng is experienced with this kind of words. "I can't relax. The strong holds the strong. There are many people who are stronger than me in this world, especially on this planet. Strong enemies appear one after another. If you don't pay attention, you may overturn." Tang Feng reminded himself in his heart, thinking of the elder, the supreme sorcerer, who has been paying attention to the entire planet and defending against the invasion of various alien spaces. And high above, the God King, Odin, who ruled the gods in Asgard and suppressed the 9 realms. There is also the mysterious heaven, the Zeus pantheon hidden in the dark, and the various pantheons. In the future, Ultron, Thanos, the powerful enemies of various universes. It is really annoying that powerful enemies appear one after another. Tang Feng burst into anger when he thought of what happened to humans in the future, and then that humans were still killing each other. So if you like infighting and slaughter, you guys should die first. Man-made disaster. Tang Feng activates the disaster skill. A university in Luoshan City, Tang Feng's target, a bald congressman who belongs to the military, is on the podium, speaking about the danger of mutant in an impassioned tone, calling on everyone to take action and fight against mutant. Let me do it. Among all the college students, some nodded their heads and responded enthusiastically, accounting for the majority. Some are evasive, always calm, accounting for a small part. There are only a few people who object, showing disgust and hatred at the students who looked at the bald congressman. They are mutants who hide their identities and have very ordinary abilities. Under the watchful eyes of these people, the bald congressman became more and more excited as he walked forward, accidentally stepped on the air, fell off the podium, and the back of his head hit a sharp corner, and died on the spot. The audience was silent for a while, and everyone was stunned by the accident that happened in front of them. Finished. Tang Feng looked away from the detection field, and with a red pen, he crossed out the bald congressman's name and focused on the next name. Coincidentally, the next target is also in Luoshan City. The target's profession is a lawyer who specializes in mutants. Under his operation, I don't know how many mutant injustice cases have been created. Chapter 38, The Problem of Succession. Isn't she here? Tang Feng retracted the detection domain and frowned. He didn't find another target. Lawyer N. As a lawyer, she must be very busy. She might have temporarily left Luoshan City or gone to that remote suburb to do business. Tang Feng thought. His brows relaxed, and he thought coldly, I have escaped for a while, but I can't escape for a lifetime. I want to decide your life. I will let you live a few more days. I don't believe that you have never appeared. He has decided to stay in Luoshan City for a few more days, just to solve this beautiful woman with a vicious heart. Big brother, has the matter been resolved? Linger keeps an eye on Tang Feng while doing housework. There is still a target that hasn't been resolved. If it goes well, maybe it will only take a few days. Tang Feng shook his head and said, So, do you have a few days to play? Big brother, Luoshan City has a lot of fun places. These clothes look so good. Linger's cheers came, and she jumped happily, clapped her small hands, and eagerly watched the TV, which introduced various interesting places in Luoshan City. It can be seen that Linger is eager to go out to play and go shopping. Okay, let's go out to play if you want. Tang Feng smiled and shook his head. He couldn't bear to refuse, so he could only agree. Knowing that with Linger wandering around Luoshan City, it is easy to reveal her whereabouts and may cause unnecessary trouble, but Tang Feng still took Linger out. As long as Linger wants to play, she is not afraid of any trouble she may encounter. Then, for 2 days in a row, Tang Feng and Linger were happily shopping and playing in Luoshan City. In the famous places, silver bells and Linger's laughter were everywhere, as well as a selfie of the two of them on the phone. In the evening, Tang Feng looked at Linger dryly. She was trying on clothes. She was so pretty, cute, and beautiful, and she was very attractive to him. No matter what Linger tried on, she looked so good. Linger, is Big Brother going to play some kind of sports game with you? Tang Feng couldn't bear it anymore. He swallowed with difficulty, and asked tentatively, Okay, Big Brother, what game is it? Linger immediately nodded and asked curiously. Tang Feng let out a long breath. His mood ups and downs. He violently hugged Linger, and then rolled around together. Tang Feng underestimated her resistance and planned to wait for Linger to regain her memory before breaking through the last layer of relationship and turning her from a girl into a woman. He didn't want to take Linger's body while Linger was confused. It's a pity that Tang Feng has to endure all kinds of temptations from Linger every day. Tang Feng really couldn't bear it anymore. Tonight, he finally couldn't help but act. Linger, I will definitely treat you well. In the morning, the two hugged each other. Tang Feng assured with a stern face, Big brother, you are very good to Linger now. Linger is like a lazy kitten, with a ruddy face buried in Tang Feng's arms. By the way, Big brother, you said last night that playing this game will give birth to a child. Does Linger have a child in her stomach? Linger suddenly asked. It's not that easy to want a child. It should be possible after a few more tries. Tang Feng smiled wickedly and rushed towards Linger. In fact, Tang Feng didn't know whether the body transformed by Calamity could make a woman pregnant in the future. In fact, the erosion of Calamity is too severe, and he is afraid that one day, the body transformation is complete. Even if it is liquid, it will be full of Calamity, and he doesn't know if any woman can bear it. Even if he can bear it, he doesn't know if he can make a woman pregnant. Therefore, while the body is still normal, at least when the saliva and fluid are normal, try to have fun in time, and if possible, try to have a child to inherit the Tang family. Today, Lawyer Ann took over another case of intentional homicide of mutant. According to the accompanying reporters, Lawyer Ann has confirmed the evidence and will soon be able to bring mutant to justice for the intentional murder. The TV was broadcasting a news story, and the image changed. No matter who it is, even mutant, everyone is equal before the law. As long as he breaks the law, I will definitely judge him in the name of the law. On the TV, there is an intellectual woman in her 40s, dressed in a black short skirt, and Tang Feng leaned back, sat on the sofa, and smiled. Big brother, is that her? Damn Lawyer. Linger looked at the TV curiously, and asked while feeding Tang Feng fruit. That's right, it's her, a woman with a cruel heart. Because she hates mutants, even if she knows that some mutants are wronged, she will turn a blind eye and favor ordinary people. Having committed so many mistakes and persecuted so many mutants, God will not punish you, then I will punish you as the god of death. Tang Feng learned from the TV station that Lawyer Ann was returning to Luoshan City, and he also knew the specific location. This was easy to handle. The detection field spread out and quickly locked on the target. Lawyer Ann, you have handled so many cases involving mutant, are you worried about mutant retaliation? At the door of a building, a reporter followed and asked her questions. If I dare to accept it, I am not afraid of mutant retaliation. I think this is a legal society. Even mutants must abide by the law and cannot do whatever they want. Lawyer Annie spoke righteously, with a look of not being afraid of hardships and dangers, not afraid of the danger of life, and responded with a firm look. Okay, well said. The people around her applauded in admiration and exclaimed in admiration. Lawyer Annie nodded slightly to the people around her, smiled without showing her teeth, and walked into the building with 8 character steps. Boom. In an instant, the chandelier hanging on it suddenly fell, hitting Lawyer Ann's head, killing him on the spot. A loud shout came from the venue. Some reporters were desperately taking pictures, and the TV station, which had already finished broadcasting, quickly interrupted the broadcast. Chapter 39 denounced Tang Feng's wave again. Law, equality for all? You can manipulate the law at will and let the so-called law become your tool. Why didn't you consider that mutant, who has power, can also turn the tables at any time? Tang Feng smiled comfortably, looked away from the TV, ability stopped, and already had the heart to leave Luoshan City, facing the arrest operation launched by the military at any time. In order to avoid trouble, he can't stay in one place any longer. Hey, Linger, you. Tang Feng hissed and inhaled. He didn't expect Linger to learn to automatically attack so quickly. Forget it, let's talk about leaving tomorrow. Tang Feng immediately shifted his attention, turned around, and took the lead. Just follow the plan and act. 30 military soldiers, fully armed, under the leadership of the leading officer, surrounded the house where Tang Feng was staying. When Tang Feng came out with Linger, he was about to leave. Attack. In an instant, a rocket exploded first, followed by countless bullets, killing machines, and the Vulcan cannon kept roaring and spraying bullets. and the shells fell to the ground. Death cortege. Tang Feng was shocked. Although he thought that the whereabouts of the military would be tracked, he did not expect that the military would act recklessly regardless of the safety of the surrounding residents. Without thinking, he instinctively protected Linger behind him, through the suitcase, held one hand with both hands, and the dark red calamity formed a curtain, protecting the two of them behind. Whoosh! Exclamation mark! A faint sound came out, and it could be seen that whether it was bullets or cannonballs, they all turned into dust in front of the disaster. Man-made disaster. When the disaster skill was activated, the originally orderly sound of gunfire became chaotic. The gun jammed and accidentally injured, which kept happening among the 30 military soldiers. Tang Feng took advantage of the sinking offensive, followed the attack, stuck out a hand, and waved a massive calamity. During this time, Tang Feng also exercised himself to control the calamity. Although the results were not great, there was progress. At least the calamity that was fired was not a mass, but a circle. When the circle can turn into various shapes, it shows that Tang Feng's control of the force of disaster has gone a step further. Even with this level of control now, be careful not to ruin your clothes anymore. Tang Feng ignored the shouts of the military soldiers and summoned several groups of disaster power, killing more than a dozen people at once, disrupting their formation, causing the bullets that hit suddenly to become weird. They are all bad guys. Linger helps Big Brother beat the bad guys. Linger's words came from behind Tang Feng. She had turned into a snake girl, flicked her tail and rushed forward, bypassing the protection of the disaster and rushing towards the military soldiers. Be careful, Tang Feng cried out worriedly, but he didn't stop him. This was just a small scene, just for Linger to adapt. As long as you follow him, in the next few days, various battles will be indispensable. Therefore, Tang Feng will not overprotect Linger and prevent her from fighting, which will only harm her. Tang Feng and Linger join forces and quickly kill the military soldiers. Under Tang Feng's protection, Linger turned into a snake girl with great strength and keen senses, and in the end she was not injured by the bullets. The battle ended and the scene was a mess. The pits were large and small, leaving corpses everywhere and spicy blood. Let's go. Tang Feng noticed the frightened eyes and some uncontrollable crying from the surrounding rooms, frowned tightly, and quickly dragged Linger away. Sir, mission accomplished. In a corner. When Tang Feng left, he walked out alone. How was the video filmed? Don't worry sir, the shot is very clear. Very well, pass on the recorded video. Yes sir. After the conversation ended, the man complied with the orders and quickly left. Within a few minutes, the Luoshan City news station broadcast a video of Tang Feng, Linger, killing military soldiers. Moreover, after introducing Tang Feng's ability in detail again, it also included the death of the previous military major, and these days, the bald counselor, the lawyer An, and a list of more than a dozen accidental deaths. The mastermind behind the scenes, Colonel Stryker, did not know the specific list of Tang Feng's revenge, so he simply blamed all the people who died due to accidents on Tang Feng's head. Whoever called Tang Feng can create unexpected disasters. Before that, although everyone knew about Tang Feng's disaster ability, today's news broadcast still shocked everyone. You can't help but think that Tang Feng came to Los Angeles and those people died unexpectedly. Is it Tang Feng's poisonous hand? Those ordinary people who died unexpectedly? Everyone is not sure. For the death of the bald congressman, the military major, the lawyer Annie and several high-level figures, they all had a grudge against Mutant and couldn't help but believe it. It can be said that the news of Colonel Stryker's conspiracy sparked heated discussions in the society as soon as it appeared. Today I had an accident and was injured. Did Tang Feng do it? My relative died unexpectedly. Is it related to Tang Feng? If that day, Tang Feng sees me upset and accidentally creates a disaster for me, isn't he dead? My God, I have a grudge with Mutant. Am I going to die accidentally? The above words are all thoughts in everyone's minds. Rational people know that Tang Feng cannot cause accidents and kill people wantonly. However, Tang Feng's wave of condemnation has already been set off, and those sensible words have submerged and disappeared, and the rest are condemnations, scolding, blaming, panic. these negative words. Tang Feng is like falling into a ditch. It is not feces, it is also urine. How to distinguish it is destined to be unclear. The world has become more afraid of Tang Feng's ability. Chapter 40. The protest against Tang Feng. Bad guys. They are all a group of big bad guys. How can you say that, Big Brother? Big Brother is not the bad guy. In a hotel in a city called Ellen University, Linger's face flushed red. She clenched a small fist and refuted the TV's words. It has been 3 days since I left Luoshan City. Both Tang Feng and Linger also knew about the news broadcast after they left. After 3 days, Tang Feng's denunciation not only did not subside, but under the control of some people with heart, it became more and more intense. All kinds of high-level people have spoken out in support of the suggestions put forward, to control Tang Feng and limit his ability to cause disaster. As a high-level person, money, beauty, status, everything is not lacking. They can take whatever they want. They are afraid that Tang Feng will suddenly come to an unexpected disaster and take their lives. Compared with the fear of ordinary people, these high-class people are more afraid. With the support of the upper-level people, like the military man who arrested Tang Feng, he immediately received a lot of support from the front, and the action became more convenient. Oh God, everyone knows that beauty's like me, and one day I'm really afraid of stealing his girlfriend. And then, on TV, a bearded playboy, facing the interview camera, sneered at him, shrugged and walked away. Even with Tony Stark's social status, he is afraid of Tang Feng's ability, and he dare not open his mouth to provoke him like he always does. Moreover, he and Tang Feng have no grudges, so there is no need to risk his life to anger Tang Feng. Even so, in the face of Tang Feng's denunciations and arrests, he silently supported the weapons sold to the military, with a 20% discount and tens of millions of dollars less. Linger, there's no need to be angry. You can't hurt me even a single hair. I don't care. Tang Feng looked away from the TV, shook his head slowly, and laughed at himself. In fact, you're not wrong. I'm not a good person. Good people don't kill so many people and also affect so many innocent lives. Saying that, Tang Feng turned off the TV and insisted that he didn't care. In fact, he felt very uncomfortable, just because of the disaster skill. The entire world came to condemn him, asking to be caught and controlled. No one cared about the reason anymore. Tang Feng seemed to feel the loneliness of being the enemy of the entire world. Big Brother. Linger grabbed Tang Feng's hand and spoke with concern. She could sense that Tang Feng's emotions were a little wrong. It's okay. Big Brother is okay. Tang Feng saw that Linger was worried about himself, so he suppressed his messy emotions, smiled, and said, yes, even if you are an enemy of the entire world, as long as you have Linger by your side and Lisa's support, it will be enough. Thinking about it, his mood really relaxed. Is it true that red demon who can control disasters lives here? Absolutely true. Although she disguised herself, her appearance hasn't changed. I won't be wrong. There's also that woman. That's the Red Devil. Are we really going? Yes, if he starts killing, don't be afraid. We have so many people here, he won't dare to shoot. Everyone, please come with me and protest to him. Outside the hotel, there were bursts of sounds. Tang Feng listened for a while, then looked at the door with a strange expression. Do foreigners show a funny IQ, or are they used to marching and protesting? How naive they are, thinking that there are too many people. They are not afraid of me taking action. A bunch of idiots. We have been exposed. Pack up, let's go. Tang Feng hurriedly asked Linger to pack the luggage together. As soon as he opened the door, he faced a group of angry people, shoulder to shoulder, holding the protest panel, crowding the corridor. Let's protest against you. A mess of protests came to Tang Feng at the same time. Move aside. Tang Feng narrowed his eyes. His face was cold. He impatiently grabbed a hand, and a dark red calamity appeared. He said directly, silence. The scene immediately became completely silent. All the words were swallowed, and everyone looked at the force of the disaster in Tang Feng's hands in panic, and couldn't help but take a step back. After seeing the news about Tang Feng, everyone present knew how terrifying the dark red catastrophe was. As long as he touched someone lightly, he would immediately turn into dust, and there would be no whole body. They were afraid. They were all afraid. They didn't dare to let him go. They all tried their best to avoid Tang Feng, and simply formed a path that allowed Tang Feng to pass through a narrow passage. Tang Feng was expressionless as he stopped linger, turning a blind eye to the person in front of him. He was calm and deadly, and in the eyes of everyone. He walked out of the hotel. Outside the hotel, more people were waiting for Tang Feng. The two streets were crowded with people, and the streets were full of cars. Many people were standing on the roofs of cars and looking up. Some were holding a protest panel. Put the Red Devil in the cell. Red Devils shouldn't exist. Go to hell. Bring my relatives back to life. It was you who caused my relatives to die in a car accident. Get out of our country. Tang Feng looked back calmly from the protest panels, took Linger's hand, and walked into the crowd. Because there is no way to leave. Red Devil, get out of my country. You inhuman mutant should be in prison for the rest of your life. Bring my relatives back to life. Red Devil, go to hell. Shitty mutant, why don't you die? Perhaps it was because he felt that there were more people, and the people outside were more courageous, and kept cursing Tang Feng. The crowd in front of Tang Feng, although afraid, felt that the people around him inexplicably had the support of an invisible power, and they persisted and did not give up. He stared directly at the man in front of him. The man was also fierce, trying to hide his guilt and fear, and stared at Tang Feng, proving how brave and manly he was in front of everyone. Chapter 41 The White Queen Emma. Tang Feng has black lines all over his face. Who is he? There are only a few 4th-level mutants in the world, who can cause disasters, easily take people's lives. The name of the Red Devil, make the world fear, and make children stop crying. He is so powerful that the man in front of him dares to stare at him. Who gave this man the courage? Those around him. Moreover, the most unbearable thing for him was that he dared to scold him, such bad words, which made his heart more and more angry when he heard it. Tang Feng couldn't hold back his anger and silently stretched out an index finger. The man in front opened his eyes desperately, looking dazed and hiding fear. He didn't know what Tang Feng was going to do, so he had to endure. In fact, his heart was about to collapse, and he was crying. There were so many people on the scene. Why did they find him? I can only say, Fate Ta Pong. A dark red pile of catastrophe erupted from the fingertips, like flames, and immediately destroyed the man and turned him into dust. Help! Dead. When the disaster occurred, everyone was terrified, especially the people standing around the dead man were even more frightened. They screamed instinctively, put their hands on their heads, turned around abruptly, turned their backs on Tang Feng, and squeezed into the crowd desperately. The sound of protest stopped for a moment, and there was a deathly silence. Panic was spreading. Everyone else gulped and looked at Tang Feng in panic. Don't be afraid of everyone. A sturdy man roared and looked at Tang Feng, wanting to say something exciting, but before he finished speaking, he quickly fell silent, curled up in the crowd, and pretended to be a turtle. Because, Tang Feng looked at it at a glance, after killing the man, the force of disaster was still entangled in his fingertips, facing him from a distance and facing many people. This was a silent warning. The scene fell silent because of Tang Feng's hot hand. After a while, those people barely stabilized their emotions, and seeing that Tang Feng only made a threatening action, but did not kill more, their hearts came alive again. Just killing one person will not scare them. There is a saying, if one self falls, there are thousands of self behind. There are so many people on the scene and it is easy to be infected by the atmosphere of the scene. When the protests sounded again, from low voices to loud noises, it was about to reach a climax, returning to the previous turbulent appearance. Act recklessly. Tang Feng's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He is not a good person. He has never said that he would not shoot the weak. Earthquake. Tang Feng thought silently and stomped his feet on the ground. The earth shook violently, continuously, and it lasted for a while before stopping. In such a short period of time, there have been many casualties. Layers of buildings, glass doors and windows were damaged and shattered. Those street signs, or something like that, fell one after another. So many people were injured and crushed to death. The occurrence of the earthquake also caused everyone to cry out in surprise. All kinds of mixed voices sounded. You squeezed me, I squeezed you, and I didn't care about civilization. I didn't care how many people were trampled to death, and everyone wanted to run. In an empty and safe place, Tang Feng can no longer be cared for. Finally, when the aftershock finally disappeared, the survivors on the scene looked at me and I looked at you. This is the last warning. If you dare to block my way, I don't mind killing you all. Tang Feng ignored the death toll and his words came out far away. He pointed at the rest of the people and said with a cold expression and murderous aura, "Dead. So many people died. Woo wah woo, how dare he do this? What an executioner. Please don't scold him. I don't want to die yet, don't provoke him." Sure enough, as rumored, he can control disasters and cause earthquakes to happen at any time. The mutant, who can cause earthquakes to happen, is really terrifying and cruel. I'm really crazy. I dare to protest to him. I think my life is too long. The survivors no longer dared to protest, no longer dared to block Tang Feng's path, no longer dared to curse, no longer dared to stare. One by one, they turned into ostriches with their heads lowered, their hearts trembling, their bodies trembling in fear, and their teeth fighting. Tang Feng looked around and saw that there were no more thorns who dared to die, and finally led Linger to the path where the crowd consciously branched out, walked out, and left here. Let him leave like this. Stop inciting everyone. Do something. In the darkness, someone asked in a low voice in fear. Enough. Do you really want to die? If you continue to incite him, it will only motivate him to kill, which is not good for us. It's okay now. I threatened with power and used earthquakes to kill many people on the scene. What this red demon has done, plus what happened before, is enough to make him one of the most ferocious and wanted mutant criminals. With his current notoriety, he is no less inferior to Magneto Eric. It is impossible to purify him in the future unless a miracle happens. Secretly inciting the crowd, leading everyone to find out where Tang Feng lives, and exposing Tang Feng's disguise. He is Colonel Stryker's subordinate. Colonel Stryker has only one purpose, whether good or evil, as long as it is a mutant. He will use every means to turn them into villains and enemies of the world. There is no doubt that his conspiracy was successful. I think you need a car now. Do you want me to take you? Just as Tang Feng pulled Linger out of the crowd, a sports car appeared in front of him. A beautiful one drove over and stopped beside Tang Feng. A blonde beauty in a white off-shoulder dress. Most of the spring is exposed. There is a slit on the side of the skirt. The foot is on the clutch, the brake, and she is wearing red high heels. A very stylish woman, very scantily dressed, or a rose with thorns. Tang Feng looked away, and did not reveal the woman's spring light. He watched more, frowned, shrugged, and happily carried Linger into the car. Sit still. If you can't sit still, you can lean over. The blonde beauty looked at Tang Feng provocatively, released the handbrake and stepped on the accelerator. With a screech, the sports car shifted in place, accelerating rapidly. White Queen Emma, where are you taking me? For what purpose? In the sports car, the strong wind blowing towards him caused Tang Feng to squint his eyes slightly and slowly said, "How did you guess my identity?" White Queen Emma did not answer hastily, but instead asked curiously, "Guess." Tang Feng did not want to explain and said indifferently, "If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 42, The Queen of Darkness. Indeed, with the appearance of White Queen Emma, Tang Feng felt a psychic force, which was obviously mutant, and with her revealing clothes, he guessed that it was a woman. Sure enough, when she opened her mouth and asked, he didn't guess wrong. White Queen Emma looked at Tang Feng with all kinds of style, and lifted the blonde hair that was blowing in front of her with one hand. "Are you afraid? Afraid of a weak woman like me?" White Queen Emma blinked. Her rounded right leg left the gas plate, and stretched out towards Tang Feng. "Cough. Concentrate on driving, don't make trouble. Linger was injured in a car accident. I won't let you go. Also, stop lying. As the White Queen of the Hellfire Club, she is not a weak woman. Tang Feng coughed twice, looking like a gentleman, and moved his right leg away. Linger and Tang Feng sat together, looking strangely beside him, obediently and silently without speaking. HMPH, kid who doesn't understand fun, he. White Queen Emma stopped being naughty, laughed a few times, and focused on driving. Tang Feng rolled his eyes and wanted to say, he's not a kid anymore. He's already a man. But thinking of White Queen Emma's character, I felt that it would cause even more trouble, so I had to shut up and remain silent. The sports car drives very fast and takes less than half an hour to reach the destination. It's a bungalow-type villa with a large area, very spacious, very beautiful, with a swimming pool, underground parking lot, helicopter, and most importantly, a small golf course. Even after seeing the Xavier Academy, Tang Feng walked into the villa and sighed in his heart. The life of a rich man is really hard to imagine. I, White Queen Emma, welcome you on behalf of the Hellfire Club. Please come in. White Queen Emma opened the door and invited Tang Feng into the luxurious villa. Tang Feng nodded lightly, without hesitation, took Linger's little hand and walked inside. Big brother, those people are dangerous. Linger followed Tang Feng and said attentively, I know, don't be afraid. Tang Feng replied softly, looking ahead with raised eyebrows. On the sofa, sat a Western beauty with long black hair, wearing purple-black lipstick, exuding a mysterious and dangerous atmosphere, holding her cheek with one hand, looking at Tang Feng with curiosity and interest. Around her, there were 4 people standing, 3 men and 1 woman. None of them were ordinary people, they were all mutants who brought danger to Linger. Tang Feng's gaze swept over the other 4, and he couldn't help but pause for a moment at the appearance of the woman among them. Like, too similar, and a character that looks very much like a star from his previous life. Magenta hair, light green eyes, slightly pointed ears, lines on the eyes and face, wearing tight-fitting black clothes, and a brave mental appearance. Tang Feng recognized these characteristics at a glance, and they appeared in the reverse future. Delightfully, welcome to your new compatriot, the powerful 4th-level mutant, the fearsome Red Demon. I am the current supreme leader of the Hellfire Club, the Black King. You can also call me the Black Queen, not the Queen, just for convenience. I don't mind you calling me intimately, Shaolin. What is my full name? I have forgotten it, because I have lived for too long. My White King. The woman on the sofa stood up, and Nana walked up to Tang Feng and said, White King? What do you mean? Tang Feng raised his eyebrows. Although he had a guess in his heart, he still confirmed the question. That is, we want to invite you to join the Hellfire Club, become the White King, and lead us. White Queen Emma walked behind the Black Queen and said seriously, yes, a compatriot as powerful as you is qualified to be our White King. We sincerely invite you. The White King of the Hellfire Club has been vacant for a long time and is waiting for you to take the position. White King, please accept our sincere invitation. Blink and the other 3 people said one after another. It was so sudden that I couldn't say yes on the spot. Tell me about the Hellfire Club first and why you invited me. I will seriously consider it. Tang Feng stretched out his hands, pulled Linger to the edge of the sofa, sat comfortably, and slowly said, May. Our Hellfire Club was founded in. Sitting next to Tang Feng, the Black Queen kept her curious and exploratory eyes on Tang Feng and introduced the origin of the Hellfire Club. The first White King of the Hellfire Club, Sebastian Zhao, has the ability to absorb all kinetic energy, heat energy, all energy. He is the powerful 4th-level mutant, the shadow of Magneto Eric, the enemy. As a result, for Magneto Eric and Professor X Charles, the team was destroyed. The second White King was Magneto Eric. However, his ideals and pursuits were very different from the Hellfire Club. In the end, the idea was different and he automatically left and established the Brotherhood. With the departure of Magneto Eric, until now, the third White King is still vacant. The philosophy of the Hellfire Club is to win over the upper class and become a member of the upper class. Although he is also a mutant, he does not care what happens to the mutant family, as long as you live well and live comfortably. The Brotherhood is anti-human. The X-Men choose to live with human beings. The Hellfire Club is to stay out of the way and only care about itself. The reason for inviting Tang Feng. The first is that Tang Feng is strong enough. As a 4th-level mutant, he is qualified to become the White King. So, the Hellfire Club is currently in a difficult situation and urgently needs Tang Feng to join, borrowing Tang Feng's power to deter all forces. Furthermore, although the Hellfire Club has ordinary members, it is also an organization that brings together mutants, and all mutants are welcome to join. Chapter 43 Changes in the situation. Tang Feng is not only a mutant, but also a powerful 4th-level mutant. He could have joined the Hellfire Club in the first place. Moreover, the situation has suddenly changed, and the life of the Hellfire Club is not easy, so he proposed to invite Tang Feng to join. The result was that there was no mutant objection. The mutant who can join the Hellfire Club, even if not all of them are bad guys, will not be too righteous mutant, will not resent the murders committed by Tang Feng, but will only worship. The Hellfire Club has been established a long time ago and has a long history. During this long period of time, many of the members it has developed come from the upper class, including the military, political participation, business circles, and the underworld. Many members are predatory giants. However, Hellfire Club is a club established by mutants to survive, not a club for ordinary people. Therefore, even if it has so many network resources and has developed so many members, the master of its center is still mutant. Even if it is an ordinary person, who can become a top-level person, such as a predatory giant, he will definitely not be willing to succumb to mutant. In this way, even though they are both members of the Hellfire Club, there is still a discord between the common man and the mutant. On the surface, hello to me, hello to everyone, if you have something to do, please help. Secretly, if you can kill a mutant, you will not hesitate and do it. In this way, the days of mutants in the Hellfire Club are not completely safe. In fact, whether it is the Hellfire Club, the Brotherhood, the X-Men, the Xavier Academy or there is no truly safe place in the world for mutants. In addition to internal crises, there are also external threats. The Brotherhood keeps an eye on the Hellfire Club and will kidnap mutants whenever it has the opportunity. The same is true for the Xavier Academy, Charles's X-Men backing, and the Hellfire Club's roster of mutants. Colonel Stryker, who has been working hard to eliminate mutants, also knows of the Hellfire Club's existence and has been targeting it. That's right, the Hellfire Club has a lot of members and a lot of power, not soft persimmons. But Colonel Stryker doesn't target ordinary people, he only targets mutants, ordinary members who don't get into trouble. Mutant members are definitely not to be messed with. Use the network's resources to fight Colonel Stryker. The Colonel Stryker was also fearless, bringing the entire army and fighting hard to the end. There are many members of the Hellfire Club, but they are scattered all over the world, affecting the military a little at most, and they cannot interfere much. That's all. Mutant of the Hellfire Club, while paying attention to the murder of ordinary members, has to deal with Brotherhood, the courtship of Xavier Academy and also face the goal of Colonel Stryker. The days have never been peaceful. Until now, the conflict between mutant and ordinary people has intensified. The appearance of Tang Feng has intensified the conflict between the two. Now, all over the world, there are daily news of mutants and ordinary people clashing and causing trouble. The situation, which had been peaceful, became chaotic. Whether it is a mutant or an ordinary person, it is stirred up. Magneto Eric also began to be restless, causing trouble everywhere and inviting mutant to join. The Hellfire Club, which has gathered a large number of mutants, and the Xavier Academy, are Magneto Eric's main invitation targets. Colonel Stryker is also fanning the flames. Using Tang Feng's topic, he listed mutant problems and difficulties one by one, kept pouring dirty water, and proposed the plan to speed up the study of Sentinel and implement it as soon as possible. Along with it, there is the mutant law, whose function is to record and monitor all the mutants who have appeared and what abilities they have. Colonel Stryker jumped up and down so happily, and the always tough army was also in constant action. Every few days, They would send mutants to suppress some troubles. And they had several head-on collisions with Magneto, Eric, Brotherhood. With all these things going on, the Hellfire Club's mutant is getting worse and worse. As a member of Mutant, even if you don't want to pay attention, you can't avoid trouble. There is no way. The reason why I keep getting into trouble is because the power is not strong enough, and your own strength cannot deter the enemy. Therefore, if Tang Feng joins, with Tang Feng's power to deter, life will be much better. Tang Feng couldn't help but touch his nose after hearing the Black Queen's explanation. In this way, the Hellfire Club is not good, and the conflict between mutants and ordinary people has increased, so it should be blamed. I admit that I am very strong and have great deterrent power. However, many people now dislike me, and everyone knows that the entire world has come to condemn me. In this case, you still invite me to join the Hellfire Club? I'm not afraid. Will I bring more trouble? Also, even without me, with your strength as the Black Queen, as well as the strength of the White Queen, plus your help, you shouldn't be afraid of ordinary dangers. Tang Feng touched his chin with one hand and asked in confusion, I lived a little longer, but I didn't have the confidence to save my life against Magneto, Eric, or Professor X. So, with you joining me, I feel relieved. The other thing I'm worried about is that the conflict between mutants and ordinary people is getting more and more intense. I can't predict what the future will be like, and I'm very worried. In this regard, I urgently want to invite you to join us and face various dangers in the future together. The Black Queen looked gloomy and said frankly. Chapter 44. Agree to join. The Black Queen is a mutant who has lived for centuries, older than Wolverine. After living for so long, she has experienced everything, the collapse and establishment of the dynasty, and she has experienced it herself. She is the one who is old enough to say so. For so long, even if it is a very hidden magic, she has been exposed to it, and she has also learned magic and is proficient in many magics. The variant ability is the ability to absorb vitality. The upper limit is level 3, but with the power of magic, it only has the strength of level 4. However, it is still a little worse than the normal 4th level strength. The combat power in the normal state is not bad, but it lacks a wide range of attacks. Level 4 mutant. Why can the entire world be feared, and the entire world can be shocked by the power of one person? All because of the destructive power of the 4th level. Magneto Eric can control the bridge across the river and can destroy a city in a short time. Charles can kill all the human beings in a city in an instant. If the brainwave strengthening machine is used, the entire mankind can be wiped out. This is the 4th level mutant that makes people all over the world fear and dread. Before dealing with the two with full confidence, you must first consider the consequences and then make a prudent decision. The same goes for Tang Feng. Through the threat of the earthquake, he proved that he also has a level 4 destructive power. Because of this, the military wanted to take action against him, and Colonel Stryker wanted to deal with him, but he was also limited. The Black Queen can't do it. She is strong enough to face the battle. She is confident that she can compete with Magneto Eric in a short time, but she simply does not have the ability to destroy a city. Her 3rd level ability, magic power, can't do it. Because of this, she does not have the intimidating power of Magneto Eric. Charles. Although the strength is still strong, it cannot contain all the enemies. Hellfire Club and Brotherhood, compared with Xavier Academy, lack nuclear weapons, real level 4 mutants. If Tang Feng joins Hellfire Club, it will make up for the deficiencies. In addition to this, after experiencing many things and living in the dark for a long time, she is keenly aware that the turbine of history is turning, and Mutant is facing a tremendous number of challenges. She is also a mutant and is destined to escape. Therefore, if Tang Feng joins, we will face future dangers together, and our lives will be safer. The future of Mutant. Tang Feng sighed in his heart. The sincere announcement of the Black Queen, he no longer worried that it is a trap. On the contrary, I admire the ability of the Black Queen to detect the crisis in advance. She knows that the historical trend of this Marvel world, the plot of Mutant, is not the plot of the reverse future, but the plot of the original X-Men. There are definitely some differences between movies and reality, so some things, some people, and some plots will be different. he learned that the mutant law has been proposed, that is to say, the plot of X-Men is about to begin. Moreover, after listening to the Black Queen, the Sentinel proposed by Colonel Stryker has been investigated and never stopped, and some results have been obtained. Inferring from these things, the future of mutant will be plagued with disasters, and extinction is also possible. If I agree to join and be their White King, then will I be restricted in what I can do? Tang Feng thought of the future of mutant inside in his heart. Even if he thinks he is strong, he should consider forming a group to warm himself up. It just so happened that the Hellfire Club came to invite him to join. Absolutely not. The Hellfire Club is free to come and go and does not restrict the behavior of members. After hearing Tang Feng's words, the Black Queen was shocked and immediately responded. The other 5 also looked at Tang Feng eagerly and wanted Tang Feng to join. Don't be hasty. If I joined the Hellfire Club and still clashed with the military and opposed the common people, then whose side would you be on? My side? The other side? Tang Feng calmed down and said solemnly, we are all compatriots, and we are definitely on your side. The Black Queen smiled lightly, without hesitation. She nodded immediately, and the other 5 nodded directly. Real? Isn't the purpose of your Hellfire Club to be a member of the upper echelons and blend in? In this world, ordinary people are still in power. I fell out with ordinary people. If you stand on my side, won't your efforts be in vain? Tang Feng asked strangely. You are wrong about this. Whether they are mutants or ordinary people, they have never united as one. Fighting is the inferiority of human beings. They are also ordinary people, the ordinary members of our Hellfire Club, and the ordinary people from the outside world are not in the same heart. As long as you join our Hellfire Club, you are a part of us, with our guarantee, plus the long-standing reputation of the Hellfire Club. At least our ordinary members are no longer hostile towards you. You know, I'm just talking superficially, secretly. What they think, I'm not sure, the Black Queen explained. Tang Feng nodded thoughtfully and probably understood that his current notoriety would not prevent him from joining the Hellfire Club. On the contrary, he can also use the Hellfire Club's network resources to suppress the wave of criticism from the outside world. If you want to do something, you can also borrow network resources, and you no longer have to be shameless to ask Charles, no matter what. Tang Feng felt that joining the Hellfire Club had many benefits and no one was pressuring him or pointing fingers at him. On the contrary, there is a group of men who emerged from nowhere, a powerful force. This is a pie from the sky. Join. Definitely join. Tang Feng nodded slowly and said, okay, I'm willing to join. Chapter 45 Fighting the Hellfire Members. Let's go. Who of you will go first? In a small golf course, on a green lawn, Tang Feng and the 6 men of the Black Queen met face to face. Linger blinked and fell silent. Tang Feng joined the Hellfire Club and everyone became his own, because he was very curious about the power of the new White King. Someone suggested that he wanted to see him. Tang Feng also wanted to know more about the strength of his subordinates. He did not refuse and directly proposed a battle. Oh no, in terms of status, the Black Queen is the Black King, at the same level as Tang Feng, not his subordinate. No one objected and was eager to try, nodding enthusiastically in agreement. That's it, a battle is inevitable. The participants are currently the highest level members of the Hellfire Club, and ordinary mutants are not eligible to participate. As for ordinary people, it is about the White King, mutant, and it has nothing to do with ordinary people. Even if they are members, they are the same. Hellfire Club has always been under the control of the Black Queen, and even if there are twists and turns, it has not turned the ordinary members upside down and overthrew the mutant state. The Black Queen Shaolin, the Black King, has the 3rd level life-absorbing ability and is proficient in magic. Since magic power involves the spiritual level, she also automatically has strong spiritual power. Even if there is no powerful attack, the combat power reaches the 4th level. The White Queen Emma, second only to the king level in terms of status, has the dual variant ability of spiritual power and diamond transformation, 1 attack and 1 defense. Both are 3rd level, and her strength is second only to the 4th level mutant, Blink, formerly known as Clarice Ferguson. is a white bishop and a third-level variant ability. She can teleport with multiple people. Moreover, the physical fitness is far superior to ordinary people. Chameleon, formerly known as Jason Edward, is a black bishop, also a third-level variant ability. He has sharp claws and a powerful physique, second only to the golden steel wolf's regeneration ability. A severed limb can regenerate in a short time, and it can also change color and become invisible. There is no doubt that even if the golden steel wolf has the 4th level regeneration ability, it is still hesitant to fight with the chameleon. Storm, formerly known as Jack Lester, is a white car, a 3rd level variant ability, can form storms, control storm attacks, and his physical fitness is far superior to ordinary people. Sandman, formerly known as Angerlanders, is a black car with a 3rd level variant ability, which can manipulate sand and turns oil into sand. The disadvantage is that cement, glass, wood, paper, etc. other than soil cannot be turned into sand. If it is soil, even a large rock can turn it into sand. In the same way, as a mutant, his physical fitness is far superior to ordinary people. He is only weak compared to the other mutants whose body is strengthened. King, Queen, Bishop, Chariot. This is the membership level of the Hellfire Club. From high to low, each level is divided into black and white. Tang Feng slowly looked at the 6 people in front of him. Before the battle, he had already automatically entered the skill, and he did too. Let me attack first, be careful. The Dark Queen reminded, squatted down, hit the grass, life energy poured into the ground, magic power was used, and a grass monster was summoned on the spot. 3 meters tall, with a burly body, empty hands, and a blurry face, like a child scribbling. By injecting life energy into non-living matter, summoning magic power, and injecting it into the mind, you can form various shapes, manipulate and use them, which is a fighting method of the Black Queen, called telepathy. Go. When the Black Queen pointed at Tang Feng, she saw the grass monster roaring silently, and with a few big steps, she came to Tang Feng, 2 big fists raised high, and punched. Interesting. Having only seen the movie, Tang Feng also knows little about the Marvel world and has never heard of the Queen of Darkness. This attack method also opened his eyes. Unfortunately, no matter how terrifying and powerful the grass monster looks, it is essentially just a monster formed by grass. As soon as the force of disaster rolls, the grass monster will quickly turn into powder from her fists to her entire body. Hiss. It was only after seeing the horror of the calamity with her own eyes that she realized how terrifying it was. My psychic attacks are useless. White Queen Emma's words came, and as the Black Queen shot, the attack followed. Invisible's spiritual power had already attacked Tang Feng, but it was automatically blocked by the force of the disaster and could not interfere with Tang Feng at all. Bravo! A sigh was heard, but the figure disappeared. A fresh spatial passage appeared behind Tang Feng, and a flickering figure stepped out of it, nimbly playing with a knife and pulling it towards Tang Feng's neck. What? Tang Feng, who was attacked, did not scream. Instead, Flicker screamed first. She hurriedly retreated, entered the spatial passage, and appeared in the distance. She looked at the half-knife in her hand with lingering fears. Her attack was blocked by the calamity, and the knife was eroded. If she did not stop in time, her hand would be gone. Sneak attack is useless, the calamity will automatically protect me. Unless I break the calamity protection, I will be hurt. Tang Feng looked at the flickering, shrugged and reminded. When Tang Feng's reminder appeared, a breeze appeared, as if a figure had left. In fact, the chameleon had already turned invisible and was about to attack at close range. When he saw the knife with only half left in his hand, his face was ugly and he had no confidence to resist the destruction of the disaster, so he had to retreat. At this point, the 4 attempted attacks have failed, leaving only 2 people. Chapter 46 Space Magic. The remaining 2 are Storm and Sandman. The 2 looked at each other solemnly and nodded heavily. They had seen Tang Feng's terrifying disaster power and powerful protection ability. With the powerful body of a chameleon, they did not dare to attack at close range, and even did not dare. They simply approached the place. Storm Tornado. Beofeng stretched his hands up, raised his head and shouted. Above him, A small tornado formed, half a meter in diameter and nearly 100 meters long, with the power to destroy a block. Sandification. Sandman crouched down and put both hands on the grass. As the grass shook, the ground beneath the grass turned into sand, sweeping across the grass and rising, forming a sand snake. They were ready to attack. Beofeng and Sandman nodded their heads and attacked Tang Feng at the same time. Go, go. Under the control of the two, the tornado and the sand snake were integrated into the middle and turned into a wind hall scroll. The shape skyrocketed. The length was more than 100 meters, and the diameter was 1 meter. The wind hall scroll not only has the sharp cutting of the wind, but also has the weight and extrusion of the sand. The power of the two is combined and the power has increased several times. It is already the top attack under the 4th level power. This kind of power can completely destroy several blocks. Destruction and destruction are different concepts. Destruction is just damage. The overall structure is still there and can be repaired and rebuilt. Destroying is different. Destroying is to completely overthrow everything. It seems that the strongest attack of their combined forces, this kind of power, even the Black Queen does not want to resist it. I wonder how the White King will resist. Twinkle looked at Tang Feng, speaking nervously and expectantly. I think at this level, there is nothing to do with the White King. Even the Black Queen will not be afraid, but she does not want to waste her life force. The White Queen explained with a smile on the side, while the Black Queen smiled without saying a word, without explaining, only said, look at it carefully. The power of the 4th level is the difference between heaven and earth, and it is completely the division of despair. Cable. It's so powerful. If it is Linger, he will definitely run away, but if it is Senior Brother, he will not be afraid. Linger patted her frightened heart with her small hand, while firmly believing. For a long time, Tang Feng knew that the power of the disaster was level 4, but he really didn't know how it would be displayed if it was truly exerted. The top attack below the 4th level. I hope not to let me have hope. Tang Feng smiled slightly, stood in place without hiding, just looked at Feng Sharon who was about to dive in, squinting his eyes slightly. What he saw in front of him was really shocking, like the special effects of a blockbuster. Calamity rushed out of Tang Feng, and as he scratched his head a few times with both hands, a circular shield was formed. Boom. Immediately afterwards, the wind hall came over, slammed into the disaster shield, and burst out with a huge amount of impact. Then, the screeching sound continued. I saw the wind Sharon roll out from the position where it was in contact with the disaster, and the wind and sand kept disappearing and turning into dust. The disaster shield is like a black hole. The volume of the wind hall with a length of more than 100 meters gradually shortens until it disappears completely, and finally returns to calm. Tang Feng took back the disaster shield, a little disappointed, shook his head and said, I admit that their combined attack is very strong, but it still can't shake the disaster protection. He didn't say that even if the Calamity shield was shaken, the Calamity could continue to be injected to stabilize the shield. Through the verification this time, Tang Feng has a clear understanding, and only the 4th level disaster power can break through. Too strong, the storm muttered with a wry smile, and the fighting spirit completely disappeared. We can't do anything with the White King. It's useless to fight again, we'll just watch the Black Queen. Sandman looked at the Black Queen with disappointment and said, the Black Queen has a 4th level strength. They believe that only the Black Queen can threaten Tang Feng with the people present. Queen of Darkness, you can use whatever means you have. I'm very curious about your power and legendary magic. Tang Feng also knew this, turned his head to look at the Black Queen, and shouted loudly, White King, you look down on me too much. In front of you, even if I am proficient in magic, I don't have many ways to think that I can harm you. I have the strongest magic attack, called Space Distortion, which should be able to break through your Calamity shield, but it is too dangerous. The Black Queen shook her head, stood up, and said, oh, I didn't expect that you still have space magic. Please let me know. Tang Feng was pleasantly surprised and said with anticipation, to say what the most famous magic in Marvel is, it is not the mysterious and powerful time magic, but space magic. Using the knowledge of space magic, Doctor Strange can open the portal at any time through the sling ring, On a planet, things appear and disappear instantly. Draw an opening out of thin air, enter, and teleport to another place. How cool. Thinking about it, Tang Feng looks forward to the Black Queen's space magic even more. Space magic is a bit dangerous, be careful. Seeing what Tang Feng was waiting for, the Black Queen knew that it was no longer necessary, so she had to remind him. Okay, I'll be careful, let's go. Tang Feng nodded, the calamity around him, and a large amount of calamity gathered in both hands. Everything was ready. Facing the terrifying space magic, even if he had confidence in the power of the disaster, he was still worried. Come, space warp, the Black Queen first recalled and shouted, and then used magic power to draw a few times with both hands out of thin air, pointing in Tang Feng's direction and grabbing with both hands. Tang Feng's pupils shrank and his hair stood up. With wide eyes, he saw that a twisted vortex suddenly appeared in front of him. Chapter 47. Tang Feng is afraid. It is obviously an invisible space to the naked eye, but I really saw it in front of Tang Feng's eyes. The invisible space is like an ocean, and a vortex appears. Space distortion, as the name suggests, is the power that can distort space. This is a very powerful force. Without the ability to resist space, no matter how hard the material is, it will be destroyed. I don't know if Captain M's shield and the golden steel wolf skeleton can resist. At this dangerous juncture, Tang Feng sent out thoughts and couldn't help but think in his heart. The next moment, he suppressed his disordered thoughts and concentrated on dealing with the space distortion. He cautiously took a few steps back, first used the calamity to form a sphere the size of a basketball file, and threw it into the range of space distortion to test it. Squeak tilde. When the force of disaster and space distortion collided, there was a harsh and uncomfortable sound on the spot. It can be seen that the terrifying force of disaster has always been displayed, but this time it cannot be met. Tang Feng's face condensed, and after a closer look, his brows were relieved. Things were not as bad as he imagined. The force of the disaster cannot be resisted, but the spatial distortion is also affected. It can be seen that the scope of the spatial distortion is gradually shrinking from a radius of 1 meter. When the sphere of disaster is completely destroyed, the spatial distortion will only be within half a meter. According to this performance, the power of disaster and space should be regarded as power at the same level. With this guess, Tang Feng breathed a sigh of relief. The calamity did not disappoint him. Then, to verify, he gritted his teeth and his right hand was full of calamity, as if he was wearing a dark red glove, and he stretched directly into space. What? Be careful. Danger. Tang Feng's unexpected action shocked the people present. Even if the power of disaster and space power were equally divided, Tang Feng did not need to take risks. In case of an accident, one arm will disappear. Big brother! Linger shouted, thinking that Tang Feng might be injured. And without caring about it anymore, she turned into a snake girl and ran over. Don't worry, look, Big Brother's arm is fine. Tang Feng stopped the sound in time, smiled at Linger, and tilted his head to point at the spatial distortion. His arm is twisting in space safely and soundly, but the calamity outside is constantly consuming. Until the spatial distortion completely disappeared, the arm was still fine, and the price paid was just a little more loss of calamity. Tang Feng is not afraid of the exhaustion of calamity. He always draws power from disasters. While using them, he is never afraid of catastrophic exhaustion. Unless he has borrowed the power of natural disasters, he has become a weak man. Big brother, scared to death. Even if Tang Feng reassured him again and again, Linger, who was worried and nervous, still turned his arm over and over again, looked, and finally felt relieved until he found no scars. It's okay, it's okay. Tang Feng touched Linger's little head with a warm hand, which was really annoying. A caring sister, as expected of the White King, such a strong force, even the most powerful means of my attack, spatial distortion can't help you. The Black Queen brought 5 people, walked in front, and said with admiration. The 5 people behind her nodded and sighed in admiration. All along, the Black Queen's spatial distortion has always been unfavorable. No matter who the enemy is, there is no way to fight back. They didn't expect that Tang Feng could resist it unscathed, and they were really stunned. Ha ha ha. It's not that exaggerated. If it weren't for your mercy, and you really put the spatial distortion next to me, even if I could resist it, it wouldn't hurt at all." Tang Feng laughed and shook his head, said modestly, "Your calamity can fight against the power of space, even if the distortion of space appears beside you. I think you are at best a little embarrassed." The Black Queen pursed her lips and smiled, complimenting her. "The Black Queen is right, White King. You are too strong. I believe that under your leadership, the Hellfire Club will definitely be able to suppress the Brotherhood and the X-Men, and become the #1 force in mutant." The White Queen's autumn waves flowed, and each model walked to Tang Feng's side, close to the past, two snowy arms wrapped around her arms, breathing in fragrance. "The White Queen is not a good woman. Tang Feng is not only handsome, but also powerful. It really makes her heart tremble. Her double strands are wet, and she can't wait to have a one-night stand with Tang Feng." The Black Queen winked at Tang Feng. After living for so long, she didn't care about love for a long time. She only wanted his body. If Tang Feng wanted it, she didn't mind everyone playing together. Among the women present, only Linger blinked and tilted her head to look at the strange atmosphere. She was not jealous, nor did she know what jealousy was. She also blushed and tilted her head to the side. Although she was also attracted by Tang Feng's beauty and power, she was still reserved, so she would not be so shameless. Tang Feng looked embarrassed, twisted his body a few times, and stood a little away from the White Queen. He was too enthusiastic and a little unbearable. Chameleon, Storm, Sandman, with strange expressions, looked at each other, looked away, and did not look at the White Queen's spring gaze. Only a man as powerful as Tang Feng could make the White Queen, the Queen of Darkness, willing to compromise. Cough, cough. "I have become your White King. Next, do you call the members to meet you?" For the first time, Tang Feng discovered that the woman was actually a tigress. He was afraid that the White Queen would shamelessly rush in on the spot. He felt a little guilty and quickly asked a topic. Chapter 48 Meet and Greet. "I heard that the vacant White King has been selected." "That's right, that's why we were called." "Do you know who it is?" "I don't know. Our club has always been in the hands of those mutants, and we ordinary people are qualified to participate." "This is wrong. The world is still in the hands of ordinary people like us. It's not the mutants' turn to make the decisions. I think the club will not be the mutants in power all the time." "Be careful. Don't say such things in the club." Members of a group of ordinary people whisper and express their opinions cautiously. Among these people, there are shareholders of Stark Industries, shareholders of Osborne Industries, and many other presidents of large multinational corporations. Among them, there is the villain of Iron Man 2, Justin Hammer, the arms dealer. Although there was no Tony Stark, no Norman Osborn, and not even Obadiah Stane, the top CEO of Stark Industries, the identities, power, and connections of these people should not be underestimated. They were ordinary members of the Hellfire Club, all of them, or at least the giants outside. As for the members of Mutant, they all gather in another place and are not together. Mutants and ordinary people, even if they are the same members, are still very different from each other. My God, the White King, who has been vacant for a long time, finally has it. Who are you talking about? Idiot, is this still a guess? If you are qualified to become the White King, your strength must be recognized by the Black Queen and others. With such a guess, you know that the White King must be a 4th-level mutant. You said, how many 4th-level mutants are there in this world, and who is most likely to be the White King? Among the group of mutants, a white man in his 30s who wore glasses and spoke in an infectious manner stood up and pretended to be mysterious. Compared to ordinary people, our mutants are very rare. Most of the mutants' abilities are at the 1st and 2nd level. Only a few mutants have the 3rd-level ability, and they are also the elites of the mutants. Let's talk about the 4th level. The deterrence is comparable to that of nuclear weapons. Over the years, only a few have appeared. Among them, except for accidental death, until now, there is still a reputation, and the only ones who protect our mutants from extinction are Magneto Eric, Professor X Charles, and our Black Queen. A fat man stood up and said with a look of fanatical admiration, although the Black Queen is not the real level 4, in the knowledge of all mutants, No matter what your actual level is, as long as your strength is level 4, it will be fine. Just like the golden steel wolf, although there is a 4th level regeneration, the heart is broken, the head is pierced, and the body is torn apart, it still cannot die. The actual combat power is only 3 levels. That's all. Everyone thinks that the golden steel wolf is only a 3rd level mutant. No, you are wrong. There is a 4th level mutant. You missed it. The man with glasses shook his fingers and said, "I'm not sure if I can't kill you," he said with a chuckle. By the way, there's also the red demon Tang Feng. His reputation has just spread, and I'm used to not remembering him. Could it be that our White King is Tang Feng? Fatty slapped his head with one hand, quickly added, and then reacted and asked in surprise. In fact, as soon as Tang Feng's name came out, the mutants present already had guesses. Magneto Eric would never come back to be the White King, and Charles would never leave the Xavier Academy to be the White King. Apart from the two of them, there is only Tang Feng, a 4th level mutant, with strength and qualifications. As for the issue of age, he is very young, but whether it is his strength or the ruthless means he displays, the fact that he is a high school senior is often overlooked. Okay, you don't have to guess, we'll know when we meet later. A dazzling spatial channel appeared, and a flickering figure walked out of it. With a flick of her long magenta hair, she gestured to the numerous mutants and said, "Come with me, our White King, who is waiting to meet you." The mutants present were all excited and looked at each other with anticipation, following Twinkle out of the door and walking towards the place where they were summoned. At the same time, White Queen also led the members of the common people, walked out of the room on the other side and integrated into it. This is the headquarters of the Hellfire Club, located in the core area of New City, on 5th Avenue on the east side, just a few blocks away from the famous Stark building. Tang Feng stood at the spacious floor-to-ceiling window, and as soon as he lifted the curtain, he noticed the most eye-catching Stark building for the first time. "New City," he returned. "I sighed in my heart that all kinds of things from the past seemed to appear in front of me, and I was forced to leave New York City, as if it had happened yesterday, and there was a kind of temporary confusion. Our king, we have gathered everyone and are waiting for you." The Black Queen stood behind Tang Feng, patted his left shoulder with one hand, made an elegant salute, and said with a smile, "Let's go." Tang Feng came back to his senses, raised his mouth and smiled, nodding towards Linger who was standing beside Jingjing, gestured to keep up, and followed the Black Queen. Below the headquarters, there is a large gathering place with hundreds of ordinary people and nearly 10,000 mutants, and the space is sufficient. This time, to meet Tang Feng, all the mutant members are here, only the ordinary members, only the most prestigious members. Other ordinary characters who are not important, do not need to come. Coming! Exclamation mark. The sound of Tatata's footsteps came, and everyone gathered in the underground space. Whether they were mutants or ordinary people, they all calmed down, stood on both sides, opened their eyes, and waited for the figure to come out. Finally, Tang Feng's figure appeared, standing on the high platform in front, like an emperor, looking down from above. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49. The Father Who Asks for Help. Standing on the high platform, looking down, everyone was looking at him, staring at him, as if in an instant, he had become the center of the world. Dazzling. Tang Feng realized the beauty of power and the importance of power. If you don't have the strength, how can you stand here, be qualified to become the White King, lead a group of mutant men, and have the network resources of a group of top-level people? The ordinary people below are all big crocodile giants, all arrogant and powerful heroes. Even so, seeing Tang Feng as the White King, he still smiled with complicated eyes and did not dare to object. No matter how powerful or rich he is, it is not as good as life, which annoys mutant, and his life is at risk at any time. They are not afraid of ordinary mutants, they are afraid of Black Queens and others. Therefore, When there are Black Queens and others, they do not dare to seize power. Compared with the Black Queen and others, Tang Feng is stronger and more terrifying. They subconsciously thought of Tang Feng's accidental disasters, assassinations, and earthquakes. They suffocated in their hearts and smiled bitterly. It's over, Tang Feng has become the White King, and they have no chance to seize power. For a time, the members of the ordinary people were depressed and their hearts were ashes. The White Queen clearly detected the thoughts of these people. The Black Queen also has a strong mind. Although she can't exert a strong attack, she is not inferior to the White Queen in terms of induction, detection, and invasion. The two women smiled at each other. Just kidding, the same level for mutant. Although Tang Feng's qualifications are a bit tender, he is not as famous as Magneto, Eric, and Charles. However, it is more than enough to subdue these ordinary people. The result was as they expected. Contrary to the mood of the ordinary members, all the mutants are emotional, with fanatical, worshipful, and excited faces, welcoming Tang Feng. If it is not considered that Tang Feng has not spoken yet, it is rude. Perhaps they will cheer loudly. I can feel your welcome. I am Tang Feng. Some people call me the Red Devil. I am the 4th level mutant, and I will be your White King. Do you have any opinions? Tang Feng turned to Mutant with a smile on his face, then bowed his head to the ordinary members. His voice gradually increased, and asked again. This question is actually asked to ordinary members, because he knows that Mutant does not have to ask. He must not have any opinions. No comment, no comment, no comment. Following Tang Feng's question, Mutant couldn't hold back and shouted excitedly. For a while, the words "no opinion" resounded in the underground space, which was deafening, louder than drums. After waiting for a while, Tang Feng raised a hand and signaled to stop. He didn't let him down. All the screaming mutants stopped. Tang Feng felt the admiration, and respect of the mutants for him. Although it was due to his great strength, it was also his charm. At this moment, Tang Feng felt excited and moved, and suddenly he had an urge to do something for the mutant family. Regardless of the other mutants, at least these mutants in front of them should be protected by him. Thinking to himself, Tang Feng looked at the ordinary members and slowly said, "What about you? Do you agree with me being the White King?" After Tang Feng's words, the mutants present were all staring at the ordinary members, and whoever dared to object would kill anyone, no matter who it was, in the face of so many malicious eyes, especially if they had no resistance. They would tremble physically and mentally and be afraid. Some people with little courage already had their legs trembling and their legs were weak. "Respected White King, you are joking. We definitely have no opinion." There was a white middle-aged man with a pointed nose, a hairy beard, a lack of trim, and a haggard face. He smiled reluctantly and took the lead to speak. The rest of the crowd followed suit and agreed. "Okay. Since everyone has no opinion, from now on, we are a family. If there is anything, everyone will help together. If there is any benefit, everyone will share it together." Tang Feng retracted his gaze with satisfaction, said a few words from the scene, and his tone became cold and stern. "If someone's life is threatened among you, I didn't make a mistake originally. I won't ignore it, and I will definitely help. Believe me, I have this ability." With that said, the dark red calamity enveloped the body, and the powerful force, the imposing manner, unscrupulously shocked everyone. If she is so confident and does not make people suspicious, only Tang Feng can say it, and she can't do it even if she changes to the Black Queen, because she has no confidence to fight against Magneto, Eric, against Charles, let alone the military. The mutants present were so excited that they held their heads high and were moved to tears. No, some of them couldn't help but cry. As a mutant, life is too hard. Even if you join the Hellfire Club, your life is in danger. You might be caught by an investigation or die if you are not careful. Although I don't know what will happen in the future, at least from Tang Feng's words, I feel a sense of security. It was as if no matter what danger they faced, there was a mountain behind them, giving them courage and hope. "White King, is what you said true? Can you help no matter what?" Suddenly, a trembling voice was heard. Tang Feng searched for the sound and saw that it was the first ordinary member who agreed. "Do you have anything to help with?" Tang Feng raised his eyebrows and said to the mutant. His words would not be taken back. The ordinary members all raised a question mark. They were in no hurry to refuse, and asked slowly, "Yes, yes, White King, please save my daughter. She was kidnapped by the Brotherhood." The white man couldn't bear it anymore. He fell to his knees and cried, and already regarded Tang Feng as his only hope. Chapter 50 Meet Magneto. According to the haggard-looking white man who was on his knees, begging, his daughter was on the yacht with friends when the news disappeared. After inquiries from various forces, the white man finally focused on the Brotherhood. After confirmation, he was desperate. If it was another gang, terrorist organization, pirates, using money transactions, it was possible to redeem his daughter. For the Brotherhood, money transactions really don't work. Like Magneto Eric, it is very easy to want money, as long as he makes threats. I believe everyone will know how to do things and save money and disaster. As expected, he finally contacted the Brotherhood, only to receive some ridicule and sarcasm, and hung up without saying a word. There is no room for negotiation. So, the anxious white man, in fact, asked the Black Queen for help a few days ago. For the sake of being a member, the Queen agreed to help and contacted Magneto Eric. As a result, Magneto Eric estimated that he was doing something big and couldn't let the little girl leave and leak the news, so he refused to show his face. In this regard, the Black Queen is helpless and can only say that she is powerless. The white man was completely desperate, but Tang Feng appeared. After hearing his words, there was a little hope in his heart. No matter what, he asked without even thinking about it. Tang Feng listened to the white man's explanation, nodded in understanding, turned to look at the Black Queen and asked, "Is that so?" "Yes, I have already contacted Magneto Eric, but unfortunately he did not agree to let him go." The Black Queen spread her hands, helpless and angry. Anyway, she also has the strength of the 4th level, but she only asked for an ordinary girl, who knows that Magneto Eric will not give any face, which makes her angry. "Your daughter, the Dark Queen, has already spoken for you, and Magneto Eric will not let anyone go, even if I speak, I guess." Tang Feng frowned in embarrassment, sighed at the white man, and shook his head. Even if he knew that he had a lot of face, Magneto Eric would usually not refute his face, but he was afraid that if he was rejected, he would still lose face in front of so many people. "Please ask the White King to help someone, no matter what the result is. In order to thank him, I promise to donate half of my property to you." The white man was in a hurry and desperately begged. Tang Feng was already his last straw. It's so pitiful. Although he is a hateful rich man, he is at least a respectable father. It's a blessing to have a father like your daughter. "My dear, I am willing to hand over half of the property. How much should I have?" "Oh, I didn't expect TPA to give up. I am willing to hand over half of the property in exchange for my daughter." "I hope the White King agrees to your request and that everything goes well. Although I find it difficult to understand what you did, I admire your decision." The mutants and ordinary people on the sidelines were talking a lot, turning their heads to speak, all looking at Tang Feng, waiting for his decision. Tang Feng frowned. In the situation at the scene, no matter whether it can be done or not, it is difficult to refuse. Who told him to say so before? "Well, as your White King, no matter what happens, as long as you don't take the initiative to commit the crime, you are in trouble, and I have a responsibility to help you." Tang Feng pondered for a while and nodded. "Thank you, White King. Thank you very much. Thank you very much." The white man, EPA, was very happy and continued to speak with gratitude. "Okay, don't be too happy. I don't know what the result will be." Tang Feng waved his hand and took out his mobile phone. He saved Mystique's contact number, and through it, he was able to communicate with Magneto Eric. Seeing Tang Feng calling, the White Queen calmly took back her phone. It seemed that she didn't need her help to contact the Brotherhood. She was a little surprised. She didn't expect that Tang Feng had already been in contact with the Brotherhood. She was thankful that Tang Feng wasn't kidnapped by the Brotherhood, and the Queen and the others were relieved, thinking the same way. "Is it Mystique? I want to ask you about someone. I wonder if you can decide?" The phone was connected, Tang Feng said directly. Who? Mystique's surprised words came out. Yes. Tang Feng briefly explained the situation. I didn't expect that you would be the White King of the Hellfire Club. Moreover, with your strength, how could the Black Queen and the others have no idea? I can't control this. Wait, I want to ask Eric's opinion. Mystique's regretful voice came out. She still wanted Tang Feng to join the Brotherhood. For Tang Feng's request, she can show her face, but it is too important to get involved with a girl, and only Magneto Eric can make the decision. Okay, hurry up then. Tang Feng frowned and said in a low voice. The next half-minute was one of waiting. Tang Feng and everyone waited quietly. Tang Feng, my new compatriot. An old but powerful voice came from the phone. It was Magneto Eric. Yes, Magneto Eric, I have admired your name for a long time. Tang Feng smiled and said politely, ha ha ha, I am old and my prestige is gone, but recently, I have heard your reputation everywhere, and it is more than an old man like me. Magneto Eric laughed heartily and there was no jealousy at all. To him, the more fourth-level mutants, the better. You are joking, all I have is notoriety, it is just a momentary heat. Tang Feng couldn't help but shook his head and said, HMPH. Notoriety is no different, as long as it can make people fear. We mutants must stand above and let the common people look up to us. As expected of the leader of the Brotherhood, he promotes his ideals at every opportunity. Leaving this topic aside, Mystique should have told you, what's your decision? Are you willing to let it go? Tang Feng interrupted the conversation and quickly said, the girl. Don't be in a hurry to talk about her, it's you. Ever since I heard about you, I've always wanted to meet you. Are you free now? Come to my island and meet me downstairs. How about it? Magneto Eric's expectation came from the phone. Okay, you've invited me over and over again. I can't be rude. Give me an address. I'll go there tomorrow and prepare the wine and food. Tang Feng narrowed his eyes slightly and nodded directly. Okay, there must be good wine and good food, waiting for you. Magneto Eric laughed happily and then hung up. Tang Feng put away the phone, looked at EPA, and comforted her. Don't worry, your daughter is fine for now. When I meet Magneto Eric tomorrow, I should be able to get your daughter back. Thank you, White King. EPA had no doubts and said gratefully. Although Magneto Eric didn't say it explicitly, it was revealed in his words that the girl is not important. It is important to meet Tang Feng. From this, it can be seen that he values Tang Feng. I believe that after meeting Tang Feng, Magneto Eric will not refuse Tang Feng's request. Magneto Eric did not mention what happened to the girl, and also indicated that the girl was fine for the time being. Otherwise, he would not take care of the girl and invite Tang Feng to meet. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.